2, a division of Bell Media.
This is what they've been waiting for. A clean slate, a chance for redemption.
Jamison beats him this time, though, and it's 10-5.
After a long offseason, both Toronto and Calgary are ready to prove that they can bring home the Champions Cup. Sanderson down low, scores a beautiful goal. The 2013 season begins right here. Roughnecks rock next. The Scotiabank Saddledome. This is the home of one of the best teams in the National Lacrosse League, and it is the season opener for both these teams tonight, the Toronto Rock and the Calgary Roughnecks, as we welcome you inside for another season of Toronto Rock Lacrosse right here on TSN. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our season opener. Dave Randorf alongside, once again, Brian Shanahan, and we've got a great game to kick off our season. Two first-place teams from 2012. The Toronto Rock is where we will start, a team that won a very competitive East Division last season, but ultimately fell short of their ultimate goal, which was to make the Championship Cup. However, the good news for them was that their star took it to another level last season.
Yeah, we really shouldn't be surprised that Garrett Billings is putting up big numbers. He scored 83 points as a rookie 3 years ago, but to score 50 points, more than the next best player in his team, on a team with guys like Colin Doyle, Josh Sanderson, and Blaine Manning, that's just amazing. He scored points every game last year. He had a great summer too, so we can expect him to keep doing the same sort of thing.
The numbers speak for themselves. It was a record-breaking season in a lot of ways for Garrett Billings. The 114 points is a franchise record. The 82 assists, an NLL record. And the point total, 114, was the third highest single-season total in league history. Billings is ready to pick up where he left off, and he is downstairs with Claude Fig.
Thank you very much, David. Well, Garrett Billings, always exciting when you talk about the first game of the season, no matter who you're playing. Just talk about the excitement level for yourself and the team.
Yeah, I think everybody's really ready to get after it. We've been practicing hard for a month and a half, 2 months now, so we're ready to get started and hit somebody else other than our own teammates.
Garrett, you had a phenomenal year last year, 114 points. Recently, you were rated the top player in the world. I don't know, I know you're not a big personal stats kind of guy, but when you hear that, how does it make you feel?
I'm just trying not to put too much pressure on myself. Obviously, the goal at the end of the day is to win a championship. The personal stuff's great, but I don't want to put too much pressure on myself and say I got to do this or that or game in, game out. Otherwise, you kind of lose sight of the process. So,
all right, Garrett. Well, good luck to you.
Thanks a lot,
David.
Can't wait to see what he has in store for an encore here in 2013. Let's talk now about the Calgary Roughnecks, a team that won the West Division for the second consecutive year. In fact, they had the best record in the league with 12 wins against 4 losses. Then in the playoffs, here on their home floor, they were upset in the first round of the playoffs, and they were knocked out by their provincial rivals from Edmonton.
And really, that's 3 years in a row they've been one of the best teams in the NLL during the regular season and got upset early in the playoffs. And last year was a really hard pill to swallow, especially because they were 4-0 against Edmonton in the regular season. But you can point fingers at some things, and one of the things is that Curtis Dixon was out for that game. A great young scorer, former Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, scored 31 goals last year. They also, Mike Pullen was hurt too, so you can point your fingers at a few things, but it cost Dave Pym his job, and this team's going to be measured on what they do in the playoffs from now on.
Well, you mentioned that Dave Pym was fired as the head coach. He has been replaced by one of Pym's assistants, Kurt Malosky, who is downstairs with Claude.
Thank you, David. Well, Kurt Malosky, you waited 3 years for this opportunity as an assistant coach. Now you get your first shot at being a head coach in this league. How are the nerves?
Yeah, it's just excitement. I've been down this road a lot of times with my junior A teams and been around for a lot of years. So, it's not about me. It's about the guys on the floor, and I'm just going to help be conducive to us winning.
I know there was a lot of talk after your loss to Edmonton in the offseason. Everybody bitterly disappointed, understandably. You guys want to come back. You've kept the core of the team together. What's been your message to the team moving forward this year so that you have a prolonged season?
Our compete level needs to be better from game in and game out, and we got to put so much emphasis on every single game. We got to be better and better as things go on. We want to culminate it all coming at the end of the season. So we have an ideology and we have some values that we got set in pace, and we've created a culture that's going to be conducive to winning. So we expect to be our best when it counts.
Thanks, Kurt. Good luck.
Thanks, Todd.
David.
Two of the top teams in the NLL are going to kick off their season tonight in Calgary. It's the Roughnecks and the Rock. You are watching Toronto Rock Lacrosse on TSN.
Batista's batting right now.
Jose Bautista, powered by Booster Juice.
New Tide Pods 3-in-1 detergent. Pop in the drum of any machine to wash any size load. It dissolves in any temperature, even cold. Tide Pods, a powerful 3-in-1 detergent that cleans, brightens, and fights stains. So all your looks pop. Hop in, stand out.
Visit allcanadians.com for video tips from NHLPA members on how to raise your game on and off the ice.
Oh, look at you, little guy, all soft and sweet with your cute little chocolate chips.
Yeah, I get it. I'm little. But they're not chips.
Oh.
They're mouth-watering peanut butter chocolate chunks. And I'm loaded with them. And if you knew just how delicious I am, you wouldn't be able to keep your hands up.
Hey!
New Ahoy Extras, the little cookie with a whole lot of extra. Game on, Canada.
We are giddy to be able to talk tonight about actual hockey teams.
TSN brings you a week-long countdown to the NHL season. And away we go. Our hockey experts will get you pride.
This is a sprint to the finish line, and they may already have a 10-yard head start.
Every team, every superstar. For the poolies and those looking for the inside story, Game On Week begins with the top 50 players, Monday at 8 on TSN. Hockey lives here. Toronto Rock Lacrosse is brought to you by Trainer's Choice Premium Supports and Braces. Trainer's Choice, getting you back to life, work, and sport. And by Backley Construction, the official construction company of the Toronto Rock.
It means there's a new season.
What a save on the best in the game!
There's a chance to finally get back at it.
Billings fires into the corner.
Vintage Garrett Billings.
You remember the mistake?
The final, Rochester 17, Toronto 13.
I know the boys will be ready. Time to get rolling.
And away we go as the 2013 NLL season kicks off for both the Toronto Rock and the Calgary Roughnecks tonight at the Saddledome. We'll start by introducing you to the starting netminders, and inside that Rock scrum is 24-year-old Nick Rose, who this time last year was a member of the Roughnecks until the Rock acquired him for a first-round pick, and he came in and went 5-1 for Toronto, and he starts the season as the undisputed #1. He was the backup to this guy. This is Mike Poulin, and he is the goaltender of the year from 2012. 10 wins, 3 losses. He is quite simply one of the best in the business. The head coach for the Calgary Roughnecks is Kurt Malosky. We told you about him. He was a former player here in Calgary, was a member of the championship team in 2009 when the coach back then was this guy, Troy Cordingley, who is entering his 4th season as the head coach of the Toronto Rock. And He is always fired up no matter what week it is, but Troy is ready to go, and he's had a good training camp and is excited to see what his team does tonight against a very good Calgary team. 4 straight years the Roughnecks have finished with double digits in wins, Shanny. No other team in the NLL has done that.
Yeah, this team has been a fantastic team in the regular season. The big question is, what are they going to do in the playoffs? 3 years in a row where they've disappointed. So no matter what they do all season, the big judgment will come at the end of the year, and their goal is simply to win the cup.
Right now, the crowd is honoring 27-year-old Mike Bullen, who is from Kitchener. First time in franchise history that a member of the Roughnecks has won the NLL Goalie of the Year. 21 wins in the last 2 seasons. That is more than any other goalie in the league over that span. He got hurt late in the season last year, and he started the playoffs and he was not 100%. But he's ready to go here, and so are we. Stephen Orr to take the draw against the master of faceoffs right now in the league. That is Jeff Snyder for Calgary. He doesn't lose many. And right away, Toronto gets first possession. Stephen Orr moves in, shoots, scores! And how about that for a start for the Rock as Orr wins the draw against one of the best in the business and then scores.
You're absolutely right. Just winning the face-off is an accomplishment against a guy like Jeff Snyder. But to take that ball and bring it straight up the floor, and what an excellent shot. Didn't give Poulin much time to set up. He shoots on the run. Great start for the Toronto Rock.
Stephen Orr, who had 5 goals all of last season, scores 7 seconds into this season. There's Snyder, who wins that draw. Now Calgary will get its first offensive possession. This is Jeff Shadler, who had another outstanding season last year after being named the MVP in 2011. Long pass across to Daryl Veltman. Veltman moves in, cannot pull a trigger, is forced in behind the net and has to curl away. Veltman, the veteran, dumps it off to Scott Ranger. Ranger into the corner. Now he'll hit for the front of the net. First save made by Nick Rose. Here comes Toronto back up the floor. This is Chris White, number 12. He's one of the new additions to the Rock, a former captain of the Buffalo Bandits. He'll head to the bench as the offense hits the floor. The ball is with the captain, Colin Doyle, over to Garrett Billings. Billings. He will be a very marked man this season, as if he wasn't already. Doyle tried an over-the-shoulder pass. It ends up with Scott Evans, number 15 for the Toronto Rock. Another guy was added. He was signed in December by Toronto, a veteran player in this league. His brother Sean plays here in Calgary. He was the leading scorer for them last year. He's on the floor now. Here comes Shadler, fakes a shot into the corner. Rogers comes across and makes a good stop.
Well, you mentioned Scott Evans on the offense for Toronto. That's a big addition for the Rock. Plus, they've got a healthy Blaine Manning, who missed all but 6 games last season. And when he came back at the end of the season, he wasn't near 100%. So the offense might be getting a lot of power from different people this year.
Josh Sanderson into the middle for Beards. Good shot from in close, and Poulin makes that save. Long stretch pass down the floor. It bounces right into the hands there of Travis Cornwall. Cornwall to Snyder. Snyder, who once again led the league in loose balls last year. He's done so 4 of the last 5 seasons. He's creeping up on 1,300 loose balls for his career. Shadler shoots, scores! Jeff Shadler ties the game and makes it 1-1.
Just a tricky little shot by Jeff Shadler. He takes something off of it and he bounces it. Watch, as he gets open, gets a little bit of room, but it's the bounce shot that fools Rose. Rose thinks he's got everything covered, and Shadler just finds a hole. Even it looks like it's above his stick and below his pants there.
The native of Edmonton, Jeff Shadler, his 7th season now here playing for the Roughnecks. Big battle over there at the Rock bench.
Former MVP in this league, and I must mention he was born in Edmonton but played his minor lacrosse in Mimico, Ontario.
Yeah, who was his first coach?
I was his first coach.
Wow, geez, and look at him now, huh?
Yes, he lost my bad habits.
Look out, Billings' shot bounced off of the end boards and off of Poulin and almost trickled in. Here's Dan McCray, gets that ball to settle down and waits for the offensive personnel to get out onto the floor. Number 5 for the Roughnecks is Joe Resiteris. He's a rookie, a first-round draft pick. Right in the middle of the action, here's Shatler again, a fluttering shot that goes wide. Number 88 for Calgary is Jackson Decker, another rookie. He was taken in the second round. They've got 3 rookies in this lineup. But for the most part, not many changes to this Calgary team because when you win 12
really didn't
games,
have to make, man.
Yeah.
You're right.
Best team in the league last year. Scored the second most goals, allowed the fewest. The highest scoring team in the league was Colorado, and that was pretty well one guy doing most of the damage all by himself in John Grant Jr. Here's Colin Doyle over the shoulder, and he just missed. Steph LeBlanc, quick pass across to Sanderson. Nice release and a good save by Poulin, who throws it down the floor. Snyder couldn't corral that long outlet pass. And hustling back up the floor with it is Rob Marshall. Marshall in, takes a shot and Poulin makes the save. Bounces right to the Calgary captain, McBride. McBride hustles up the floor. And he will dump it off here. Daryl Feltman now. Feldman being watched by Hoare, who got things off to a start. The Rocket only dream of Shatler moves in, tried the 5-hole again on Rose, and he was ready for that one.
Beautiful swim move by Shatler, and you're right, he went for the same spot that he scored the first one.
Jesse Gamble doesn't miss by much. This game is going back and forth as the ball goes up and out of play.
Yeah, here's the swim move by Shatler. Not many players can do it with a left hand like he does there.
Nick Rose acquired last March from Calgary. Toronto gave up a first-round pick in the 2014 draft to get him. Here's Evans trying to fish it into the middle for a former member of the Rock, Aaron Pascas. You might remember that name. He did not play all of last season due to work commitments after playing in 2011 for Toronto.
And he was a big part of that Toronto team 2 years ago that won the championship.
Certainly was. 15 goals for him. Here's Shatler now settling things down. Over 5 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Here's Dixon. Dixon's a 30-goal man. Outlets to Decker. His shot is blocked right in front of him by Cam Woods. And then Decker is decked. Pat Merrill talking to Troy Cordingley prior to this game. He says Merrill is always in good shape, but he is really committed to his physical fitness in this offseason. Good save there by Poulin. And he will hang on. 9:23 to go here in the first quarter. 2 goals to the board. It's 1-1 in Calgary.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
Because of you, those who helped us along the way.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
To the volunteers that taught us about dedication. The coaches who pushed us to be our best.
Say thanks. Say thanks.
To those who cheered us on.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
Because of you, we realized that hockey is more than a game. It's who we are.
Say thanks.
Craft hockey goes on because of you.
Your muscles give you strength, but when they ache, they weaken you. Try Tylenol Muscle and Body. It's specially formulated to relieve muscle and body pain for up to 8 hours. Tylenol Muscle and Body. Get back to normal, whatever your normal is.
He's still coughing.
Hey, Dan, why don't you take a seat at the end of the table?
The power seat.
Perfect.
That's it.
Annoying cough? Take Halls. Halls. We'll all feel better.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
Welcome back to Calgary. Let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team. Here is Claude Fay. Claude.
Thanks very much, David. Well, a few brother acts on the floor tonight, including Scott and Sean Evans. Scott, of course, joining the Rock this season. You may have noticed they're both wearing number 15. There's a good reason for that. Their father, Paul, wore number 15 as a Peterborough Laker when he played lacrosse. He was even a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the late 70s. Now, the reason that Scott is wearing number 15 with the Rock is because number 19, which is the number that he has worn, was taken by one Josh Sanderson. Guys.
The Evans brothers front and center in both of these offenses. Sean led the Roughnecks in scoring last season, and Scott was a member of the Edmonton Rush last season, and now he finds himself in Toronto.
And those guys, they bring a lot of grit with their talent.
Here's Shadler, good shot and a nice save by Rose. Shadler's been busy. He's got the lone Calgary goal. Rose with a little outlet pass to Merrill, up to Stephen Hoare. Hoare moves in, lets one go, a hard shot, and Poulin got a piece of that. And this will be Toronto ball.
Well, you can definitely tell that the transition players have the green light to go to the net on the Toronto Rock. They're not holding up if they see any opening at all. Stephen Hoare's had the one goal and a nice shot there, and Rob Marshall took one a little earlier.
Here comes Billings, goes into the corner for Evans. Manning trying to feed it back to Billings, and Sanderson scoops up the loose ball, and then he is hammered there by Carnegie. Toronto gets it back, and that shot goes high and wide, and now it's scooped up by Cornwall. Here is Curtis Manning for Calgary. Manning circles back, and he'll head to the bench and allow Sean Evans to get on the floor and take the ball. Here comes Sean Evans. He is watched closely there by the veteran Chapman. Sandy Chapman on him. Decker with a quick pass to Pascas. His shot doesn't miss by much. Chris White playing his first game as a member of the Rock. Scoops up the loose ball, and Toronto starts up the floor.
I believe that shot went off referee Todd LeBranche. That's why he took that odd bounce back in front of the net.
Todd LeBranche is the crew chief tonight. Greg Hart is the assistant referee. Here's Billings. Billings, who had that monstrous 15-point game last season in Buffalo. What a night that was. Here's Doyle over the shoulder, a little too high for his teammate Sanderson, who had a huge season here in Calgary. He's a member of the 2009 Roughneck team that won the Champions Cup. 104 points for Sanderson that year.
Well, there's 4 members on this Toronto Rock team have broken the 100-point barrier.
Here's Sean Evans. Can't get free against Rob Marshall, who is on him very tightly. Cam Woods. Cam Woods scored the overtime winner here last year in the regular season meeting. That shot whistles off the post. And Calgary retains possession with a fresh shot clock. Jeff Shadler in behind the net for Ranger. Tried to tuck it in. Scott Ranger is very dangerous. He's wearing an A in his jersey this season. Here comes Gamble on the floor. Jesse Gamble almost had it trickle past, but Poulin squeezed it and held on.
Jesse Gamble, one of the fastest players on the Toronto Rock, takes it to the net, but no room to put it in. Jeff Shatler's now at 4 shots of the Calgary 6 shots. And that makes it their 7th shot out there.
Steph LeBlanc with the ball, and another good season, but as you mentioned earlier, he finished second in team scoring, 49 points behind Billings. Here's Casey Beers. Beers, who can certainly get hot, gives it to LeBlanc, scores! Stephen LeBlanc with his first goal of the season gives Toronto the lead again. It's 2-1.
Yeah, Steph LeBlanc just parks himself into the slot area and gets a lot of room. Doesn't need a full windup, but he just squeezed it in the left side of Mike Poulin.
Yeah. LeBlanc failed to hit the 30-goal mark last year. Finished with 28, but he had a very strong finish with 12 goals and 32 points in his last 5 games. So down the stretch, when the Rock were at their best.
Yeah, there was definitely points where he struggled last year.
He was a big reason why they finished so strong and won the East. Good pass across from Belton. That is Kyle Belton, number 87, a rookie for Toronto. He's from Langley, BC, and the last time the Rock drafted a guy from Langley, it worked out pretty well, didn't it?
Yes, Mr. Billings. Yeah,
there's a loose ball to Billings. He had an open net for a moment there, but the man right in front of him, he could not get the shot away. Now he'll wait for the rest of the offense to get out there. Billings being watched there by Shatler. In tight was Manning, and he got a piece of the post as Poulin's stick went flying over the net.
Well, he had Poulin beat on that.
Right in front, a little behind the back attempt there from Dixon. Here's Evans. Sean Evans trying to get away from the checking there of Mike Hobbins. Gets it free to Dixon. Dixon back up top. Feldman shoots, and it's blocked. Gets his own rebound. Shoots again, and Rose makes an easy save. Then lobs it down the floor. Here's Edwards with a breakaway. David Edwards in. Stopped by Poulin. He looks behind him, but he has it. Damon Edwards looks skyward, and it remains 2-1 Toronto here in Calgary.
18. Number 18.
18.
What can I do for you?
Can I get 4 sirloin steaks, please?
Like this?
More like this.
Anything else?
How fresh is the Jetta?
Just came in this morning. $14.990 a piece. She's real nice.
Yeah, I'll take one. With the one on the left. Yeah, that looks good. Thanks.
Volkswagen. Das Auto.
The Capital One $1 Million Button Contest is on. Make the shot and you could be a millionaire. With that kind of money, you could build your dream home. In Bora Bora. With a private army of monkey butlers. Hey, some millionaires do some interesting things. Enter the Capital One $1 Million Button Contest daily for your shot at $1 million.
What does it take to make our children happier? How do we make them healthier, stronger, and more confident? We bring back play. At Participaction, we say, dust off the bike helmets and revive hide and seek. Let's give them 60 minutes a day of the physical activity that kept us happy and healthy when we were kids. Let's bring back play. Participaction. Let's get moving.
The Raptors on TSN continues tomorrow as the Raps play host to the Milwaukee Bucks. Live coverage gets underway at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TSN and TSN Mobile TV. Here at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome. It is 2-1 for the Toronto Rock. They won here last year after Calgary won in Toronto. They split their regular season head-to-head last year.
And it was a remarkable finish, the game here that Toronto won last year. I think they tied it up in the last 30 seconds. Then you mentioned Cam Woods. Of all people, the defensive player scored the winning goal in overtime.
Calgary on the attack. There's Evans with a shot and a goal. Sean Evans with his first of the season. 2-2.
More evidence that Calgary's got some dangerous shooters. This doesn't seem to be really in dangerous territory, but he uses the defender as a screen and just puts it to the short side on a nice overhand bounce shot.
Sean Evans has a Champions Cup title under his belt. He won it in 2007 with the Rochester Nighthawks. This is his second year at Calgary. Last year he tied a career high in goals and points, 32 goals, 79 points to lead Calgary. So a nice acquisition to this veteran-laden team. Dave Pym, by the way, who was the head coach the last few seasons here, is now a Western scout for the Toronto Rock. We'll have more on that story at halftime with Claude Fig.
Yeah, a lot of relationships between these two teams.
Good pass up the floor from White. In for LeBlanc, and he is checked very closely there by Dan McRae. McRae, the 5th overall pick of the 2010 draft, with a strong defense there on the dangerous Steph LeBlanc. Here's Scott Ranger. Here's Evans again. Just scored moments ago, looking for more. Trying to get away from Woods. Outlets, they move it down low. Quick shot, misses the mark, and bounces to Shadler. Shot clock winding down here. Evans cuts into the middle, looking for the release. Gets it to go on Rose, who makes the save. Loose ball scooped up by Woods. It's bouncing around, but Toronto has it. And down the floor it goes. By the way, in case you're watching this Calgary offense and wondering where's number 44, Dane Dobbie unavailable tonight, serving a one-game suspension for an instigator penalty he took in the playoff game last season. So Dobbie's watching this one.
And he's a big part of the offense on this Calgary team, too.
He had 4 goals in that playoff loss against the Edmonton Rush. Fell just shy of another 30-goal season, but Dobbie will be back next week against Colorado. Here's Garrett Billings. Billings cuts in on the rookie Dinsdale and then throws it back, looking for Evans, and now here comes the rookie. This is Matthew Dinsdale. He's in and he's stopped by Rose. What a moment that would have been for the first-round draft pick from Coquitlam, and now we're going to get our first penalty call of the game. It's going to go against Jeff Snyder.
Let's go. Get there. Get there.
And he's directing Mr. Snyder to an area that he's fairly familiar with.
One of the top 10 penalty minutes in NLL history.
Let's go. No,
but big turn of events, though. Dinsdale, what great speed he has there as he breaks down. Nice save by Rose. Because he ran through the crease, he cannot pick up this ball. So he leaves the ball for his teammates, and of course, Snyder takes the penalty for the hit in the boards.
Boarding is the call, so the first power play of the game goes to Toronto in a 2-2 game in the late stages here, the first quarter. Here's Billings. Billings up top, unloads to the captain, quickly to Manning, scores! Power play goal for Blaine Manning. And Manning is back in business.
Well, this Toronto Rock power play, at times they struggled last year, but when they click, it's a beautiful thing to watch. The ball moves back and forth from side to side. Look at how much time Manning has.
Here we go. Yeah.
Poulin manages to come over, but Manning finds the ball finds the opening between his legs as he's moving from side to side.
The 290.
You're not playing the ball this way. You gotta play the ball. Let's go.
There's some good sound from the floor there. I was just going to say that is the 297th career goal for Blaine Manning as he's getting very close to 300. His first of the season. 3-2 Toronto. They've never trailed. Calgary has always responded to this point of the game. Here's Jeff Shadler, who has a goal tonight. Drops it off for Veltman. Veltman into the middle. Scott Ranger got a shot away, but it was over the net. Here's Hobbins back up the floor. Hobbins right in front. LeBlanc moves, scores on a great little deke. In on Mike Poulin, and he buries it in behind the Calgary netminder, and it's a 2-goal lead for Toronto.
And when I spoke to Terry Sanderson today, he said one of the improvements in the team is the speed coming off their defense, and they made Calgary pay here as Hobbins comes breaking up, and on the quick change, LeBlanc steps on the floor, and we got a flag thrown. So we'll have to see whether LeBlanc stepped his foot into the crease on that. But
before the face-off, guys. Before the face-off.
There's Kurt Malosky, his first challenge of his head coaching career here in the NLL as Steph LeBlanc looks on and anxiously looks up towards the replay, and they are going to investigate whether or not there was a crease violation.
And don't forget, we have a big screen here. The coaches can watch the big screen if they see something that they think is close. They'll throw the flag down, and I know it was close. I don't know. Oh, yeah. That's no goal.
I think you're right.
Yeah, his foot's stepping on the crease. It just has to touch the crease to be illegal. And give credit to the coaching staff or someone on that bench, the Calgary team, because they probably saw that on the big screen. You know, and it's great for the home teams to get quick replays, because then they can make a quick judgment call. I think that goal will be overturned.
Stephen LeBlanc, he knows it too. That's a rare mistake by a goal scorer like him. He was
really when you have that much room.
Yeah.
you know, you see more of them when the guys are straddling the line on the crease, and it's difficult.
Do you
But
have any other looks that? Thanks. That's all I need. Thank you.
that one looks cut and dry.
No go.
Now you can already hear the referee, the crew chief rather, Todd LaBranche.
Well, the fans get to hear
the call.
now. Yes.
Isn't it crazy? He steps in.
The argument is just
So it is 3-2. It remains a 1-goal lead for Toronto. Minute and a half to go here in the first quarter. Steph LeBlanc with 28 goals and 65 points. He is sitting right now at 97 career goals. Beginning his 4th year in Toronto. He and Billings came in the same year.
Well, what a dynamic duo they were together. They still are.
Absolutely. 2 dynamite rookies in this powerful Rock lineup. Darryl Veltman trying to work his way around Marshall, and he is cut off. And a crease violation is called, so the ball is turned over to Toronto. Here comes Kyle Belton. Belton moves in, whistles a hard shot past the top corner. Rebound bounces right to Snyder. It's a 2-on-1 break with a defense hustling out. Snyder shoots right on, and Rose makes the save look easy, and then hurls it down the floor. Quick transition in front, Billings. Poulin makes the save as he reaches back. He's been doing that a lot.
I don't know how he did that, because I thought he was beat cleanly on that shot.
They are working Billings over big time along the side boards, and Calgary comes up with the ball. Andrew McBride dug it free, and here is Sean Evans. He shoots, Rose makes the save. Billings is very slow, and he just remains on the floor as he was slow to get up. Now he's got it. Billings drops it off. Here's Doyle, can't get a shot away. Sean Evans hustles back.
Well, the score is only 3-2, but Toronto's transition has been killing Calgary so far. They've been getting a number of 3-on-2 breaks. And if not for Mike Poulin, I think we might see a bigger spread.
With 18.8 seconds on the clock here in the opening quarter, Kurt Molosky has called a timeout to draw up a play here. He talked an awful lot about playing for Troy Cordingley, and he said that, you know, they're very tight, they remain close friends, and that Cordingley is really a mentor for Molosky.
Yep, Cordingley, Terry Sanderson, he's told me the same thing. He's learned a lot from those guys. He's known as a great tactician. Kurt Molosky, he's played in this game for a long time. He was always a power play specialist, could put the ball in the net. And they say he's a perfectionist too. Sometimes his players start rolling their eyes as he stops the drills and the practice to get it right and get it right. And he says, I don't care how many times they roll their eyes, they're going to learn to execute the way we're supposed to.
A 12-year veteran of the National Lacrosse League was Molosky. Troy Cordingley played 9 years in the league. These guys very experienced on the floor and now on the bench.
And Molosky won his first championship in his last year in the NLL, playing for that 2009 Calgary Roughnecks for Troy Cordingley.
And Cordingley went on to be named Coach of the Year. Here we go, final 15 seconds. They've drawn up a play, and Scott Ranger has the ball. Gets it back, Ranger moves it over to Evans. Evans on the left side to Veltman, his shot right on. Rose makes the stop, and it's scooped up there by Gamble. Lost it to Dixon, but time is going to run out here in the first quarter at Toronto. A little pushing and shoving still. Toronto is going to head into the second quarter with a 1-goal lead here on the road. 3-2 Toronto in Calgary against the Roughnecks.
TSN and TSN2 ring in the new tennis year in Melbourne with the 2013 Australian Open. Novak Djokovic returns as the reigning champion, while world number 1 Victoria Azarenka defends the women's crown. The superstars will light up the courts down under. The 2013 Australian Open. Tomorrow on TSN2.
It
doesn't take long to see that Canadians love their Tim Hortons coffee and donuts. And with our new irresistible coffee and donut deal, when you buy Canada's favorite coffee, you can now get an always fresh donut for just 49 cents. It's time for value. It's time for Tim's.
At Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we keep things pretty simple.
Simply treat our customers the way they should be treated.
That's been our philosophy for more than 55 years.
It's no more complicated than that. It's simple.
Maybe that's why Enterprise is North America's favorite place to rent a car.
It's about treating customers the right way.
Let us show you what that means.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
3-2 is the score after 1 quarter of play. Let's take it down to Claude Fegus with one of Toronto's goal scorers.
Back inside the Saddledome in Calgary, the Rock leading the Roughnecks 3-2 after 1 quarter. Blaine Manning, one of the things the guys were talking about upstairs is the transition game your team has brought. It seems like it's very free-flowing right now.
Yeah, it's a real fast game. We wanted to be better at this year, pushing the ball up the floor. Seems the way the league's going, so our guys are doing a great job. It's a bit different for offense guys because we're not out there a whole lot, but it's great. It's a real exciting game so far.
All right, Blaine, well, you got the goal. See if you get some more. Good luck.
Thanks very much.
Guys.
5 goals on the board, 5 different goal scorers. The only guy in the game with 2 points is Colin Doyle, who has 2 assists. What are your thoughts there, Shanny?
Well, I think, I spoke to Terry Sanderson before the game, and he said to watch for it. He says their transition, their defense is a lot faster this year than it was last year, and he thought that there would be a chance to exploit Calgary using that transition, and so far I think they've done a pretty good job of it.
They get off to a great start with a goal 7 seconds into the game by Stephen Hoare. Shots on goal are dead even, 13 apiece. There's Colin Doyle, who really had a rough season last year. He wasn't 100% at the beginning of the year, and head coach Troy Cordingley admitted that he is still the guy that really drives this machine, and they're going to have to be careful with his minutes and not use them as much as maybe he would like. There's Gamble, who is in the box now. Toronto took a penalty there. A dead ball foul against Gamble. That was after.
Yeah, there was a little skirmish after.
A bunch of stuff going on there just as we went to commercials. So Calgary is going to have its first power play of the game.
And like Toronto, this Calgary team has got some pretty good weapons for the power play.
Toronto cashed in on its power play. Let's see what Calgary does here. Out of the corner, it's Dixon, gives it up to Evans. Evans up top for Ranger. He's very dangerous. He can let it fly. Ranger backs up. Mishandles that return feed. Here's Dixon. Fake the pass and then whip the shot that was wide and bounces down the floor.
Not normally a great shot selection, but there was just a couple seconds left on the shot clock for Dixon.
Here's Stephen LeBlanc, who thought he had a goal in that first quarter, but replays showed that he committed a crease violation, stepped on the line, and it was taken off the board, and that was the last time we thought we had a goal. LeBlanc gives it up to Doyle.
Toronto not much of a short man threat. Last year they only had 5 short-handed goals, second fewest in the league.
1 minute gone in this Calgary power play. Andrew McBride waiting for Ranger to join the ranks on the floor. Here he is up top. Ranger gets the ball back. He works it back and forth there with Veltman. Here's Veltman to Ranger. Ranger tried to cross-floor pass, and it was cut off nicely there by Stephen Hoare, and Veltman has to hustle back to the center floor line. Gallo takes a shot, but you can see that that was after time had expired. You could hear the siren and the call from the crew chief. So nothing going on right now with this Calgary power play, despite a lot of weapons on it.
Well, there was some pretty quick hands by Stephen Hoare to get a stick in between that pass, and Hoare's had a great game so far.
Here's Sanderson. Josh Sanderson being watched by one of the Carnegie brothers there. That's Scott Carnegie, 22. Older brother Mike wears number 16. And with just a couple of seconds left in the penalty, Gamble steps out of the box, and Calgary goes 0 for 1 with the man advantage, getting no shots on goal. Disappointing start for them for this second quarter. the line. The loose ball scooped up by Bill Greer. And Greer up the floor with a little bounce pass across to Gamble. Gamble is a defenseman that has shown that he can shoot it.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, none of these guys are concerned about taking a shot. They've all got the green light that if they see the opportunity, they're going to the net or taking that outside shot if they think it's there.
Billings still looking for his first goal of 2013. Had his shot attempt blocked. Here's Dinsdale. Matthew Dinsdale goes into the corner for Jeff Snyder. Here's Ranger now. Ranger creeps in. His shot again blocked. A lot of that going on right now, but he gets the rebound. Gives it up to Dinsdale. Dishes it off to Shatler. Low shot. And Rose gets a piece of that.
A really nice pick thrown out there to give Shatler the room to take that shot. And that was a nice save by Rose.
Offense sets up again. From behind the net, this is Snyder. Snyder being watched by Woods. You don't often see Jeff Snyder in on the offensive set this deep in the floor, do you?
No. Well, he loves it.
Evans is run over there by Stephen Horn. He's looking towards the crew chief, looking for a call. And he's going to get it. Oh, yeah.
Well, this will be interesting if they call a high stick or not. Now the reason why they might not is because Evans was bent over and ducking on the play.
I thought it was. I was going to call him for rough, Chris.
Really, eh?
Yeah, but Greg gave him a slash. I thought it was more of a rough shot to the head. Okay, that's what I had my hand up for.
That's great. We get to hear Todd LeBranch explain what he was calling. It was definitely a penalty, and you don't want to get a high sticking call now. If it's high sticking, you have to call a major or a match on that. And I agree with that call there.
So Calgary gets his second consecutive power play attempt. That shot by Evans well off the mark. Bounces all the way down the floor. And it's Edwards trying to corral that bouncing ball and cannot. But it is a over and back. And Toronto retains possession. Here's Chapman. Backing up, trying to take some more time off the clock. Good chance here. Down low, they try the one-timer in for Manning. They get a shot away in tight. And pulled and kicked that aside.
Good job by Toronto on the ground ball there. Good, not only good hustle, but seeing their teammates scooping it to an open spot to a teammate.
Well, Toronto will take this. This is a great start for them here. 5 minutes now into the second quarter. They're keeping this powerful Calgary offense at bay. Back-to-back power plays, they're doing it now as well. There's a shot and a save by Mike Poulin.
Well, if you're Calgary, you just want to get a shot on the power play. You know, you've got all those offensive weapons. They've been moving the ball around the outside, but not taking the shot. Sometimes you just got to step in and rip it.
50 seconds to go in the Calgary power play. Jeff Shatler up to Sean Evans. Quick pass in for Veltman. He misses the mark. Rebound scooped up by Woods. And it's a breakaway chance here for Marshall. Defense hustling out. Nice move. Marshall scores. A great move by Marshall to cut in and score a short-handed goal.
Very nice move, and I wasn't so sure that Calgary hadn't left their bench early to catch Marshall. But regardless, watch this play. This little fake he puts on as the defenders get back, fakes the shot. Really nice play. And again, one of the transition players, Stephen Hoare, scored one. Marshall gets one there. Not only a transition goal, but a shorthander transition goal.
Marshall had 2 goals all of last season. That was a beauty there. Shorthander with the assist going to Woods, and it's 4-2 Toronto. 20 seconds to go now, the man advantage. Ranger in close, and he bounces that one wide of the mark. Dixon moves in, fakes the shot, goes over to Shatler. Shatler back for Evans. Evans trying to get it back to Shatler, takes it off the boards. Was looking for Ranger over the top. And the shot clock winds down. No shots again for Calgary on this power play, and they give up a shorthander to boot.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
Kit Kat Chunky wants you to get in the game. Enter for your chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 48. Go to Nestle-NFL.ca or see Nestle displays at Loblaws, Atlantic Superstore, and Fortino's. Kit Kat Chunky, official sponsor of the NFL.
We filled this car with 3 sweaty guys and their odors, placed a Febreze car vent clip on the dash, and asked real people what they smelled.
Pleasant smell. A car that has been washed?
Proof Febreze car vent clips keep your car fresh. Breathe happy.
It doesn't take long to see the Canadians love their Tim Hortons coffee and donuts. And with our new irresistible coffee and donut deal, when you buy Canada's favorite coffee, you can now get an always fresh donut for just 49 cents. It's time for value. It's time for Tim's.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
Well, the Toronto Rock are back and are ready to play their home opener for a rockin' crowd next Saturday as they take on the Philadelphia Wings. We have live coverage beginning at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on TSN2 and TSN Mobile TV. And if you live in the greater Toronto area and would like to head on down to the Air Canada Centre, for tickets, go to TorontoRock.com. That is next Saturday night, the Philadelphia Wings. And Dan Dawson will be rolling into town.
No. That was the big trade, remember?
Oh, I beg your pardon. That's right. He moves all the time.
Yep.
You're right.
Paul Rabel. We'll see Paul Rabel coming into town.
Good catch. Good catch.
The best field lacrosse player in the world. Not a bad box player either.
4-2 Toronto. They've got a power play goal and a short-handed goal in this game so far. 6 minutes into the second quarter. Dinsdale goes up to Snyder. Snyder trying to cut in towards the net. And Sanderson will take over from there. Here's Cam Woods. 14-year veteran is Cam Woods. From Aurora, Ontario, heads to the bench. Offense sets up. Stephen LeBlanc backing up. Try to go over the top, and that is cut off. Bouncing around, and is scooped up by McRae. He's hit by LeBlanc. Rolls off the check, though, and does get it up to Carnegie. Belton goes in the boards for it. Bill Greer helping out defensively, and they get it up the floor to Mike Hobbins. Here's Hobbins. Outlet pass to Billings. His shot misses the mark, bounces high and down the floor. And this will be Calgary ball. Scott Carnegie after the over and back. Drops it off for Sean Evans. Sets a pick, allows Evans to move around. Nice pass across. Good save there by Rose on Jeff Shatler. He read the play, came across and stopped him. Here's Evans, the younger brother of Scott. Gets the ball back. Pass up high, Shatler moves in, takes a shot, rolls again, makes the save. Here's Shatler. Evans into the middle. Pascas takes a drive, and he's stopped as well.
And that one just happened to hit Rose. I don't think Rose saw that shot coming.
In tight, Jesse Gamble trying to dish it off, and then he takes a hard hit from the Calgary captain. And the crowd likes that. And Calgary could use a spark right now, don't you think?
Well, yeah, right now nothing has been working for them in the offensive end, but with the weapons they have, you know, that could change anytime.
Here's Colin Doyle. One hand on his stick, trying to barge in. Back up top for Billings. It gets through Poulin. Beards trying to reach in and scoop it out. It keeps the ball alive. Evans takes a hard hit from McBride along the end boards. One thing Troy Cordingley loves about his acquisition, Scott Evans, is that he says he goes to the dirty areas.
Well, Scott Evans is one of those players that when he puts his head down and goes to the net, he's very difficult to stop. We haven't seen it yet, but we will.
Fans in Edmonton are familiar with a story where Evans was a healthy scratch going into the playoffs. There's a shot that goes off the crossbar as Edmonton ended up making it all the way to the championship game. That was without Evans. Toronto happy to have him. Bill Greer under attack. Calgary gets that ball turned over, and that pass just out of the reach of Dinsdale, who races after it into the corner. Great work there by Shattler.
That was relentless pursuit by Shattler to get that ball off Greer. I don't think Greer had any idea he was so close to him. Shattler's one of those players who's good all over the floor.
Well, keep in mind, in 2011, he was not only the MVP, he was also the transition player of the year.
Yeah, he's a player who started this league playing defense. Now he's become more of an offensive player, but he's got the skills to play both ends of the floor.
Here's Stephen Hoare. He's got one goal already. He walked in and took a shot, and Poulin made that stop.
Well, I think Poulin wasn't going to be caught by surprise in that shot. He stepped out on it.
Here comes Snyder. Snyder with a pass was looking for Aaron Paskis, the BC boy who's no doubt happy to be back in the league and out west here after scoring 15 goals in 14 games for the Rock in 2011.
Yeah, and we mentioned it wasn't that the Rock didn't want him last year, but he had some work commitments out west that he couldn't play in Toronto.
Colin Doyle up top looking to release that hard shot of his. He goes over the shoulder and Toronto retains possession. Shot clock winding down, 5 seconds on it. Manning has no lane. Into the corner it goes, and Toronto runs out of time here. Good defense there by Calgary. 4:46 to go the first half. Season opener for Calgary and Toronto. It's a 2-goal game.
He could be your soulmate. But first, you've got to get him to say hello. Crest 3D White Advanced Vivid Enamel Renewal Toothpaste. Not only can it remove up to 90% of surface stains, it also strengthens and rebuilds your enamel. Crest 3D White Toothpaste.
Oh, look at you, little guy, all soft and sweet with your cute little chocolate chips.
Yeah, I get it. I'm little. But they're not chips. They're mouth-watering peanut butter chocolate chunks. And I'm loaded with them. And if you knew just how delicious I am, you wouldn't be able to keep your hands up.
Hey!
New Ahoy Extras, the little cookie with a whole lot of extra.
At American Express, we go above and beyond to make the impossible possible 24/7. We've personally delivered replacement cards, found doctors who speak your language, tracked down lost wedding dresses, turned 3-star into 1-million-star dining. We've even returned a loved one home. Impossible. It's 2 letters too long. American Express. Realize the potential.
I've been coloring Liz's hair for years, but lately she's been coming in with less gray than usual. What's she up to?
Root Touch-Up by Nice and Easy has the most shade choices, designed to match even salon color in just 10 minutes. With Root Touch-Up, all they see is you.
Back inside the Scotiabank Saddledome, once again, here is Claude Fig.
Well, Dave, we all witnessed in horror last month as we saw the events unfold in Newtown, Connecticut that cost the lives of 26 people. Now, Roughneck Jeff Snyder was asked to go down to Newtown along with other lacrosse players to try to ease some of the pain with some of the other kids at the Sandy Hook School and children from the surrounding area. Snyder and others put on a lacrosse clinic. Now, Snyder told me it was eerie initially getting there, very humbling and heartbreaking seeing some of the other kids that were reclusive and traumatized by the event, but a no-brainer for him to go down and try to help out. Guys.
Great story indeed as Evans winds and fires Newtown, and that area of Connecticut is a real lacrosse hotbed. And that is a great story indeed as a couple of guys try to make a difference.
Jeff
for those
Snyder, tough character. He's like 4th all-time in penalty minutes, but he's got a big heart too.
Calgary scores, and it is the rookie Joe Resetarits getting his first career NLL goal.
Got drafted 6th overall by Calgary. This guy's got some touch, an American who plays the Canadian game. He was brought up He lived in Hamburg, New York, but played all his minor lacrosse in St. Catharines, played Brampton in the Summer League. So this guy's played a lot of box lacrosse, played field at Albany where he put up a lot of points, but he's one American who doesn't have to make the transition to the box game. He knows it.
6th overall pick in the 2012 draft. As you mentioned, went to the Mann Cup with Brampton in 2011 and had 15 goals in that playoff run. And now he's got a goal here in the National Lacrosse League, and he's got Calgary back within one, and they've got the ball again. Quick pass across for Shadler. He got a shot away, and Rose makes the save. Battled for it in behind the net. Calgary comes up with it. Dinsdale was headed for the bench, and now he's right back into the offense. Here's Evans, turns it over. Orr was almost off to the races. And this one rolls out of the stick of Cam Woods right into the Roughneck bench. And it will remain Calgary ball.
And that goal has brought the volume of this crowd up a couple of notches. They had nothing to cheer about for quite a long while.
Shadler goes into the middle for Dixon into heavy traffic. Ball's bouncing around. Here's Decker. Shadler over the top, and Chapman cuts that off. And quickly down the floor for Gamble with another breakaway. Gamble right in, scores. Bounces one right past Poulin and restores the 2-goal lead.
And Toronto had made a couple interceptions. This one comes off Chapman's stick. Rose whips it up the floor quickly. I thought his feet were pretty close to the crease, but it wouldn't matter if it was. I think that was a good goal regardless, but they've got no challenges. Yeah, he's a good foot away from the crease. And Gamble has had plenty of transition opportunities. This time he gets a clear-cut breakaway and puts it in.
And Brian, how many times has Calgary been caught on that long outlet pass from Nick Rose?
Well, Toronto has just done a great job busting up the floor, and that's exactly what Terry Sanderson was talking about. And you know, it's tough, and we've seen Toronto's been guilty of this at times against great transition teams, getting their offense off quick enough.
Shadler to Decker. Rose comes out, challenges, makes the save. Chris White turns, gets it to Greer, and again, they're in all by themselves. Harden scores! Toronto is just running all over the Roughnecks right now.
Well, you just said it, Dave. Toronto's been doing it all game, and they burned them on it again. Look at all those Calgary players. There's 4 bodies. Nobody's either getting to the bench or getting back quick enough. And the speed of the Toronto Rock's transition game has been the difference today.
Calgary has the long trip down to the defensive end of the floor for this quarter, and Toronto has exploited it 3 times in this second quarter.
And that's the 4th goal by Toronto by a defensive player.
That's right. Here's Sanderson. He shoots. There's a guy, you're right. Wait till their scorers start scoring. Calgary could really find themselves in trouble. Lots of times to go here. McRae spins away from the pressure, gets it to Shadler. Shadler, Ranger, Dixon. Here's Curtis Dixon. No lane to shoot, still with it. Goes back up top. Loading up his Pascas, scores! Aaron Pascas blows one right by Rose. And Calgary answers back.
Well, this is a defensive lapse by Toronto. Watch how much room Pascas has when he catches his ball. Toronto is totally collapsed. All their guys are down low. Watch the room up here for Pascas. They step out on him. It actually goes in off a stick, but they just weren't aware of him. Too many guys down low. Well, nobody up on him.
Over here, 2 minutes, dead ball contact. Over here, 2 minutes, flat.
Well, there you have the calls crystal clear. You could hear their coincidental minors to Sean Evans and Rob Marshall. With 2:02 to go here in the first half. 2 East-West rivals of the NLL playing their season openers tonight. Toronto had extended its lead to 3, but Pascas gets them back within 2. That's a big one against his former team.
How many times have we seen that in the NLL where you go a long stretch without any goals, and here we've got 4 goals in less than 2 minutes?
Steph LeBlanc for the Toronto Rock. Sets things up. Curls around the top, cuts in, shoots, hits the post. And that bounces right to Scott Evans. Evans gives it up to Billings, who comes across to Colin Doyle. The captain, 16-year veteran, back to Billings. Into the corner and down below out front. Doyle with a shot and a good save there by Mike Poulin. They needed that stop, and that is why Poulin is considered one of the best. Big saves at big times.
A big save, and then a great effort by LeBlanc to get that ball back.
In front, LeBlanc scores, and they get one past Poulin there.
Well, you got to give all kinds of credit to LeBlanc in there, because he went in the corner and retrieved that ball against 3 Calgary players. And then after his team reset up high, he snuck in, and look at the opening he has there. That's his second goal of the game for the Toronto Rock.
Look at how open and unchallenged LeBlanc was in that goal.
And what a guy you don't want to leave open.
Well, I'm sure Kurt Malosky, in his first game as a head coach here in Calgary, will have some pointed words for the team that was the best regular season team last year. 2-time West Division champions. They are coming up flat right now on their home floor in their season opener. Under a minute to go here. Toronto with a chance to add to its 3-goal lead. Second time they've led by 3. Long shot there. Curious shot selection as they had some time to burn on the clock. And now Calgary comes back up the floor. Here's Dinsdale with under 20 seconds on the shot clock.
I think with that long shot, they were hoping to get a rebound with less than 30 seconds to go, then they could pull their goalie. Now instead, Calgary is pulling their goalie here.
See how it works out. A little bit more time left on the game clock as Shattler fights his way in, and his shot goes just wide, and the rebound is out of the reach of Dinsdale. Chapman was racing away, but a timeout is called by the Toronto bench.
Yeah, and I don't think Chapman really liked that, because he was hoping to cash in on an empty net, but as soon as he picked up the ball, they blew the whistle, and you know that's what happens when you tell the referee we want a timeout as soon as we get the ball.
Assistant coach John Lovell talking to his offense there. As they will draw up a play to try to add to the lead. The shots on goal are 24 apiece as Troy Cordingley looks on. Toronto won the East Division semifinal against Buffalo in a tight one. A goal in which Nick Rose really played well. And then lost to Rochester, a team that really picked up its game late in the season and went on to win the Champions Cup.
Yeah, it really was a strange season. Last year was probably the first year I can remember where you got a couple of teams in the championships that weren't dominant teams in the regular season. You know, most years, and I like it, most years you see the dominant teams in the NLL getting to the finals. Yes, last year was an exception.
So Rose stays on the bench. 8.4 seconds to go in the second quarter.
That's human error. We're fine there, okay?
Ironing out some situations with the clock, and here we go. Colin Doyle brings it up the floor. 5 seconds to go. They're going to have to hustle. They set up the shot. Billings goes down low. Poulin makes a save. Loose ball. Beers got it away. I believe it was late. He takes a late shot, and everybody's going to get into it around that Calgary net.
Well, that's some good game management by referee Todd LeBranch. He's telling everybody there's no penalties now, so get going. And I think we'll probably come out of this situation without any penalties.
No penalties right now, and if you keep going, there's going to be some. So, oh, now look at now. There's going to be penalties. This is not done yet.
Yeah, there was a shot in the head.
Casey Beards took a shot. He went down. You can hear LeBranch. He's made a call now as it looks things.
Get out, boys. Let's go, boys. I got red. Let's go. I got red only right now. Walk away, Let's go.
Well, with that last warning, Toronto would do well to turn around and walk away.
Calgary is going to get a penalty to start the third quarter. Not what they needed, just as they were trying to get some momentum back. So it appears as though Toronto will start the third quarter on the power play as tempers flared here the late stages. We're right at the end of the second quarter. Let's take it down onto the floor. Here's Claude Feg with Stephen Hoare.
Thanks very much, David. Well, the name of the game for your team in the first half, Stephen, was transition. 4 goals. You started it all. It seems like there's a concerted effort to get this team moving a little faster now.
Well, we're trying to push the ball for sure. I mean, scoring goals in unsettled situations is our advantage for sure. So the more we can push the ball, the better.
And obviously, first game out on the road, have a 7-4 lead after the first half. You guys have to be pretty excited.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, we took advantage of some of our opportunities, which is nice, and I think our D played pretty solid, but we got to get better here. They're going to be a lot better in the second half, so we got to come up and match that for sure.
So we talked about how you got things started. Can you just walk me through, because there's only 7 seconds in, just walk me through what you did there.
Well, Snides beat me on the draw, but he hit me in the foot and the ball popped out, so caught a break on that one, and then Kyle Belton ran a great 2-on-1 play for me to draw the defender, and I just took a shot. So a lot of other guys didn't work for me on that one.
A little bit of bragging rights maybe in the locker room every time a transition guy scores. You guys aren't expected to score a lot.
Well, we're trying to be expected to score a lot more. I mean, it's hard to score 5-on-5 in this league, especially against a team like this with great defense. They're great on 5-on-5 D, so the more odd man we can get, the better off we're going to be.
All right, Steve, thanks for this.
Thanks, Claude.
David.
7 goals on 25 shots for the Toronto Rock in that opening half. They have a 7-4 lead against the Calgary Roughnecks. You're watching Toronto Rock lacrosse on TSN.
TSN has your hoops fix covered every Thursday.
Get that big stuff out of here.
We've got the biggest names.
Bring it on, LeBron, baby. Bring it on.
And the biggest games.
All the threes are flowing like tap water.
Plus Shaq, the Jet, and Sir Charles at halftime. The NBA on TSN. Clippers, Timberwolves, Heat, Lakers. Thursday starting at 8.
While everyone else seems headed in the wrong direction, we're not just going forward. We're going further. Introducing the entirely new Ford Fusion with a hybrid that's the most fuel-efficient midsize sedan in Canada. It's an entirely new idea of what a car can be.
Keep your family safe this winter with the Windsor family of ice melters. Windsor Safety Plus keeps walkways ice-free. It's formulated to help minimize winter weather damage to concrete and be gentle on plants. We love pets as much as you do. New Windsor Safety Pet, veterinarian recommended and easy on your pet's paws. And for fast melting in extreme cold, there's Windsor Action Melt, specially blended to clear the way in a hurry. Windsor Ice Melters. Let our family work for yours.
My name is LasVegas.com. Before the internet, things were totally normal.
LasVegas.com. You got my hotel and airfare all arranged?
Then things started to change.
Can I get your autograph?
People confuse me with the websites. All the time.
I want to experience Thunder Down Under at the Excalibur. I made you chocolate chip and raisin cookies.
Do I look like a website? Is this how a website dresses?
2 tickets. Donnie and Marie at the Flamingo.
Sweet Palazzo?
I am not a website. I'm just a man.
Don't miss out on anything, Vegas. To book hotels, flights, shows, and more, there's only one LasVegas.com.
Oh, look at you, little guy, all soft and sweet with your cute little chocolate chips.
Yeah, I get it. I'm little. But they're not chips.
Oh.
They're mouth-watering peanut butter chocolate chunks. And I'm loaded with them. And if you knew just how delicious I am, you wouldn't be able to keep your hands up.
Hey!
New Ahoy Extras, the little cookie with a whole lot of extra.
Mobile device theft can put your personal safety at risk. It can also compromise your personal information. Protect your data. Protect yourself.
Back inside the Saddle Dome in Calgary, 7-4 our score. Let's show you what happened around the league last night. The Philadelphia Wings won against the Buffalo Bandits 13-8. And tonight, Buffalo bounced back at home against Minnesota, beating the Swarm 13-12. Elsewhere in the second quarter, it is the Stealth coming off a victory last week against Rochester, leading Colorado 10-8. Well, as we've seen, Kurt Malosky has now assumed the reins of the Calgary Roughnecks here. That was a job that was previously held by David Pinn, who assumed the reins of Troy Cordingley and Terry Sanderson when they moved to the Rock back in 2010. Now, Pim had a very good run here as far as regular seasons were concerned, winning 33 games. But the downfall for this team came in the playoffs with 2 hasty exits. But since then, he's been reunited with both Cordingley and Sanderson, and not that guy, and has rejoined the Rock, looking to recapture some of that winning formula that they experienced here with the Roughnecks back in 2009.
Over the past 3 seasons, no head coach won more regular season games than Calgary's David Pim. But after failing to win a championship in each of those years, the Riggers cut ties with Pim. That's when 2 old friends came calling. Toronto Rock general manager Terry Sanderson and head coach Troy Cordingley, who won a championship in Calgary with Pim as an assistant in 2009, were looking for a Western scout, making Pim the obvious choice.
Troy and I had the advantage of working with Dave Pim, and if there's a guy that loves the game as much as him and is a student of the game as much as Dave, I'm not quite sure I've met him yet.
His knowledge of the game is unbelievable. Doesn't give enough credit of how much knowledge he knows, and he's such a student of the game, and he absorbs so much of the information.
It's that level of knowledge and experience that the Rock hope will give them an edge against opponents this season, an advantage that scores big with Pim's former players.
Regardless of whether he was fired or not, the team in Calgary is pretty outstanding, and he had a big part in that. And anytime you can bring in an asset like that, it's only going to be positive.
He's going to bring some knowledge there. He's really good with the video and stuff like that. So I'm sure with him and with the rest of our coaches, they're going to have us ready like always.
Now with the season underway and a 7th championship in sight, David Pim has become an essential part of this Rock team, one that they believe will be a difference maker.
It was an advantage for us, and we could not say no. We had to ask him to see if he was interested, and lucky for us, he was gung-ho.
And here is the aforementioned David Pim, who is now a Toronto Rock scout. But David, got to ask you, walking into this building tonight, did it feel a little strange?
Yeah, I still got the butterflies, a little bittersweet, but when one door closes, another one's open, and I'm really honored to be part of the Rock and helping them out.
You weren't out of work long. It was pretty clear from Terry and Troy that they think highly of you, a lot of respect there. Was that an easy decision for you to make when they called?
Oh, absolutely. I had some tremendous memories with them starting in 2008 and then capitalizing on everything that we worked for in 2009 with a championship here. And I've got that same feeling working with these guys. They have the passion and they know the character guys that it takes to win in this game, and I am thrilled to death to be rejoining those fellas.
Now, you're not going to be coaching this time around. You're in a scouting capacity, so what exactly will that entail for you?
Lots of pregame preparation for individual tendencies with players as well as systems, and if I can lighten the workload of the coaching staff so that they can concentrate on their strengths and give them that information to make us better in all departments, then that's what I'm going to try and do.
You talked about the butterflies coming in here, though. Does it feel a little strange, though? You're not actually coaching week to week right now?
Oh, absolutely. It's a little different, but the passion is still there and the fire's still there, and I got a rejuvenated spirit for the game, and I really owe that to the Toronto Rock, starting with Jamie, and Troy and Terry, Johnny Lovell, Matty, all the guys on the staff. They've adopted me like one of their own, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, David, listen, congratulations. Good luck with your new venture.
Thank you, sir.
All right, David Pinn, now the Western scout for the Toronto Rock, and I don't think he'll be scouting these guys. Some of my buddies on the floor now with the Rock up by 3. This is Toronto Rock Lacrosse on TSN.
Want to play like a casino VIP? JackpotCity.net free online casino will teach you how. Learn to bring the house down using our perfect strategy feature. Enjoy hours of entertainment on our award-winning slots, featuring famous brands like Tomb Raider and the Osbournes. Plus, you'll find a huge variety of roulette, blackjack, and video poker games to play. Visit JackpotCity.net and live it up like a VIP. JackpotCity.net free online casino. Learn to play, play to win.
What'd you get?
Lewis is saving a few bucks.
Same here. Wendy's. Sorry. So not the same. Going in.
Saving doesn't mean settling. And Wendy's Everyday Value menu has 8 delicious choices for just $1.89, loaded with big tastes you can't get anywhere else. Enjoying what you eat and what you pay. That's Wendy's way.
Now that's better.
18. Number 18.
18.
What can I do for you?
Can I get 4 sirloin steaks, please?
Like this?
More like this.
Anything else?
How fresh is the Jetta?
Just came in this morning. $14.990 a piece. She's real nice.
Yeah, I'll take one. With the one on the left. Yeah, that looks good. Thanks.
Volkswagen, das Auto.
No one can understand the life of a woman in the developing world better than another woman in any part of the world. The struggle to be equal and to be allowed to realize your potential. At CARE, we found that when women are empowered, it's one of the fastest ways to help the world move forward. If you'll just reach out and lend a hand, you won't believe what you can start.
Back inside the Calgary Saddle Dome, this is the first of 10 games you'll see on TSN this season. Next week, we're back at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto as the Philadelphia Wings come to town. Then the Minnesota Swarm come to town the following week. The next night, we're in Rochester to face off against the Nighthawks. And a week later, always a great game, Toronto-Buffalo in Buffalo. And finally, in February, the Minnesota Swarm will be hosting the Rock at the Target Center in Minnesota. Elsewhere, as far as the rest of the schedule is concerned, these very Roughnecks come to Toronto February 15th. That's followed by the Colorado Mammoth, who come to town on March the 8th. Philadelphia Wings will host the Rock March 16th, and our final broadcast of the season against the Buffalo Bandits at the ACC March 29th. Well, for many Rock people, this all started, and fans, of course, the Fanatics, this whole run began in 1999 when the Rock, in their first season, won a championship at Maple Leaf Gardens. And then the following season, did it again. But that second season, a rookie named Caleb Toth rewrote some history, making it a very memorable one for Rock fans.
Toth from outside. Doyle is up high and gets the ball. Doyle looking, back to Toth, shooting, scores! With 1 second left! 1 second left! Being organized.
Well, he was the Rock's second-round overall pick that season. There he is right at the bottom, celebrating with the rest of the Rock teams. Helped raise the banner at Maple Leaf Gardens. The last goal ever scored at Maple Leaf Gardens. Of course, it has since reopened for the Ryerson Rams. Then Caleb Toth came to Calgary, expansion team, won 2 more championships here, just recently retired as the team's all-time leading scorer, goals, assists, games played. And Caleb, I asked you, it's got to feel a little strange not being on that floor tonight.
Yeah, it does. Being in civilian clothing, watching the game, from the stands with my family is definitely a little different. But, it's still lacrosse, and I love watching the game. I enjoyed playing it, and like I said, I love watching it too.
Well, obviously, Rock fans have vivid memories, great memories of you with the Rock, but your biggest memories came in your hometown here in Calgary, where you played for 9 seasons, did a lot for this team, for this community. Obviously, very proud of all your accomplishments. What kind of stands out for you?
Well, definitely the first championship. That was a huge thing, winning in front of my hometown. In front of my friends and family. We were just 3 years in, and we won the championship, and I don't think a team's done that since we did it. And then the second championship in 2009, with Troy and Terry. We had a great team, Josh, Tracy. We just had an amazing team that year, and we won the championship. And those 2 championships are huge. And the one in Toronto is too, but when you win it in your hometown, it's that much more special.
Well, listen, a lot of fond memories both in Toronto and Calgary. Congratulations on a great career and good luck post-lacrosse.
Thank you very much.
All right, there's Caleb Toth, former Roughneck, former Toronto Rock. Both those teams in action tonight. The Rock leading 7-4. You're watching lacrosse on TSN.
Because of you, those who helped us along the way.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
To the volunteers that taught us about dedication. The coaches who pushed us to be our best.
Say thanks. Say thanks.
To those who cheered us on.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
Because of you, we realized that hockey is more than a game. It's who we are.
Say thanks.
Craft hockey goes on because of you.
Finish down, please. How's that?
Oh, this is so good.
Yeah.
Keep your family safe this winter with the Windsor family of ice melters. Windsor Safety Plus keeps walkways ice-free. It's formulated to help minimize winter weather damage to concrete and be gentle on plants. We love pets as much as you do. New Windsor Safety Pet, veterinarian recommended and easy on your pet's paws. And for fast melting in extreme cold, there's Windsor Action Melt, specially blended to clear the way in a hurry. Windsor Ice Melters. Let our family work for yours.
What if you could drive the future today and switch on the air conditioning remotely? What if you could drive with zero emissions and you never had to stop for gas again, ever? What if your everyday car was an electric car? And what if one day it could power your house? The Nissan Leaf, innovation that excites.
Getting set here for third quarter action of the Scotiabank Saddledome. Here are the halftime stats in a 7-4 Toronto lead. Shots are very even. Loose balls actually favor Calgary. Right now the power play has been a factor for Toronto. They've also got a short-handed goal. And Toronto is now going to get what we think is going to be a two-man advantage. We are just waiting for the official call. We believe a couple of minors have been called against Calgary. One for a hit from behind on Curtis Manning, and then number 16 is Mike Carnegie. He gets called for roughing. This is all after time had expired in the second quarter. And there they are. So this is bad news for Calgary, as Toronto is now going to start with a 5-on-3 here in the third quarter, Brian.
Well, at one point we had heard the referee had said if everybody walks away, there's no penalties, and we definitely saw the Calgary player take a shot at a Toronto player. It was tough to see who that was in that scrum, but the hit from behind, I would think that would have been the roughing call, but I missed the hit from behind. But a tough start for Calgary, who really, you can't say much positive about that first half. Kurt Malosky cannot be happy about anything. I don't think there was anything positive.
And as for the Rock, what do you think Troy Cordingley thought of that opening two quarters?
Well, they said transition was going to be a bigger part of their game this year, and so far they've shown it. 4 of their 7 goals were from defensive players on the transition.
And a big chance here. Billings shoots, misses top corner. Rebound bounces towards Sanderson. He is angled off the ball, and Calgary's going to get a chance to take some time off the clock here. On the matching minors against Calgary. Here's Scott Carnegie with the ball. Scott Ranger now into the corner. There's Dixon being watched by a couple of members of the Rock, Gamble and Rob Marshall. Did a good job playing a little keep away here. 6 more seconds to go on the shot clock as he's just muscling his way in to try to maximize the time of possession, and he does. So about a minute to go here in this Rock power play. 5-on-3 to start the third.
Here we go, defense. Here we go.
Colin Doyle, Billings, back to Doyle. Doyle down low, Bearns scores. Casey Bearns with a power play goal.
And it's a setup from Colin Doyle, who is one of the best at making his teammates look good, and he does here as he winds up for the shot. Watch this. Everybody thinks he's shooting now, and he puts it across, finds the opening to Behrens, who is one of the best at finishing those chances. Doyle looks at the net the whole time, played a little catch, and everybody thinks he's putting it in. So Toronto's perfect on the power play so far, 2 for 2.
And they still have 53 seconds to go on the second minor against Calgary. So they are now 2 for 2 with the man advantage. And the goal lead is now 4 for Toronto, their biggest lead of the night. Behrens, who had another excellent season, 28 goals last year for the Toronto Rock, scores early here in the second half. Evans thought he got a stick up with the chops there.
Well, he did the moved his head back to try to sell it to the referee.
He's working hard to try to take some more time off the clock. He's even speaking to the official as he gets the ball back. So Calgary gets a fresh shot clock to work with here and take the remaining 10 seconds off. So excellent work there by Sean Evans.
And you can bet that Sean Evans is trying to drive the net, draw a penalty. Sometimes good things happen when you drive the net.
Manning steps out of the box. The team's back at even strength. And now there's a penalty call coming up against Toronto. So here's Evans again. Couldn't get around Gamble. Gets it away to Shatler. His shot is blocked. And now Calgary is going to get a power play advantage here.
Pat!
Well, give some credit to Sean Evans for talking it up with the referee. I don't think it was a penalty call on him.
Pat Merrill is going to the box.
2 minutes. Illegal equipment.
All right, so you know what has happened here is Pat Merrill had been warned once about his chin strap. This is something the league is watching very closely this year. They want their chin straps on tight. He was warned in the first half, and he got caught again. And now Calgary is scoring a power play goal as a result of it. So Merrill steps out of the box. I'm sure he's going to tighten that chin strap now.
I'm sure he's walking over to the referee.
He might be upset, but this is a rule that everybody knew about. One of the initiatives that they want player safety front and center.
Yeah, and it doesn't take Calgary long this time, and they actually get their first shot on net and it on a power play, and it goes in. Shawnee Evans scores his second goal. But yeah, you make a good point. They're going to call the headshots a lot tighter, and they don't want to see helmets flying off because of bad chin straps.
Here comes Dixon flying in there. Got a shot away, and Rose makes the save. Calgary now back within 3. Couple of quick power play goals here to open the second half. Mike Hobbins races down the floor for Toronto and then drops it off to Garrett Billings. 114 points for Billings. Third most all-time in a single season in NLL history. Trying to pick up where he left off. Sanderson over the shoulder. In traffic is Manning. Billings shoots. Hit the post. Hit the post. He had pull and beat, and he took a shot as his helmet and stick are still down on the floor.
Yeah, that's a...
It was after. You got to go off, Scott. Got to go off with the chin strap. That's your warning.
A long shot. And we're hearing another warning with his chin strap.
Well, this was a late shot against Billings. No question about it. Watch here.
Just shot clock's winding down. And that's a late shot. Now, it's not a high stick.
Nolan Hevener, who has...
But it's a forearm to the head.
Absolutely.
And they gave 5-minute major.
After 3 goals, then your guy comes out, but he has to stay for their 5.
Okay, so it's a major, not a match. So that's a difference as well. If you get a major now, you can score up to 3 goals against a major. If you get a match, it's unlimited the amount of goals on the 5-minute power play.
That also carries a game misconduct with it as well.
Absolutely.
So the rules remain the same for a major. Hevener is in the box for 5 minutes regardless, and Toronto can pile up 3 goals. Here's Manning. He goes up top for Behrens. Behrens to Sanderson, scores. There's one. It didn't take long. 13 seconds into this most recent man advantage. 9-5.
Again, Josh Sanderson, and we see it all the time, doesn't have the hardest shot, but manages to find the holes. He seems to change on his follow-through, like this little subtle changes on the follow-through to change the angle at the last second. Does a great job.
Jeff Snyder is gang tangled there in the corner. 3 members of the Rock have him pinned. Snyder's fine with that as the time winds down on the penalty to Hebner. Finally, the ball squirts loose here. Shatler comes in as well and works over Gamble, who's going to race around the net.
Gamble's a very quick runner, but Shatler's good match. There, get called on the 8 seconds. Great job by Shatler to take all the space away from Gamble. And Toronto couldn't get that ball over half within 8 seconds.
So Shatler gets the ball back. And they're going to take off close to a minute here, potentially, from this 5-minute major handed out to Hebner. A real careless penalty for a Calgary team that can't afford many more mistakes tonight. Here's Decker. Decker trying to find some room. He's in, got a shot away, and Rose came across to make the stop. Not a bad move there from Jackson Decker. 2nd round pick, 17th overall in last year's draft. From Port Moody, BC. Here's Evans, outlets to the captain. Doyle goes into the corner for Sanderson. Across it goes, it deflects right to the netminder, Poulin. Here's Manning with some room to run it up the floor. Directs traffic, dumps it off, gets it back. Manning in, and he bounces it just past Rose and wide of the net. 2 minutes gone in the 5-minute major. Calgary with the ball again. Look at Evans. He has really worked extremely hard this evening. Puts it out in front, was looking for Ranger, and that pass was in behind him. Baskets with the ball. Long-range shot off of Rose, and this remains Calgary ball with a fresh shot clock when we come back. 9:28 to go. Toronto still in control here in Calgary.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
The Capital One $1 Million Button Contest is on. Make the shot and you could be a millionaire. With that kind of money, you could build your dream home in Bora Bora with a private army of monkey butlers. Hey, some millionaires do some interesting things. Enter the Capital One $1 Million Button Contest daily for your shot at $1 million.
Take a break from Old Man Winter. Book a select all-inclusive beach vacation now and get $150 future travel credit. Plus, enjoy the protection of our best price guarantee. Escape winter at Expedia.ca. Expedia.ca. Your trip, your way.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
This copyright telecast of the National Lacrosse League Incorporated may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the National Lacrosse League. An injury update now. Let's send you downstairs to Claude.
Well, Dave, the news not good for the Toronto Rock. They suffered through a lot of injuries last season. It's already begun. Damon Edwards, their defender, you'll see running down the floor, pulls up a little lame. It is a hamstring injury, and he is done for the night. Probably won't be around for tomorrow's game in Edmonton either, but the last thing the Rock want to see is the injury bug hit this early in the season.
You are right. Troy Cordingley dealt with a lot of injuries last year in 2012, and they do have a very difficult back-to-back to open up this season tomorrow night in Edmonton to face an improved Rush team. As mentioned, team that surprisingly went all the way to the Champions Cup. Over the shoulder pass to Decker, and he dove in, got a shot away. Calgary is still short-handed here for another 2 minutes and 16 seconds.
Well, so far, though, Calgary's done a great job when they get the ball in the Toronto end. They've been eating up the clock, getting shots and rebounds.
Colin Doyle back to Bearns. Bearns, LeBlanc, Casey Bearns shoots, and Poulin makes the save. Into the corner, loose ball. Scooped up momentarily there by LeBlanc, but now it is Carnegie. He is chopped down by Steph LeBlanc. Gives it up to Billings.
And that's one of the reasons coaches like LeBlanc so much. He's fierce when he's going for a loose ball, and he was fierce getting that ball back.
Under 2 minutes to go in this Toronto power play here. Sanderson scores their second power play goal on this 5-minute major call against Nolan Hebner.
Well, Josh Sanderson, one of the best passers. Look, he shows you the over-the-shoulder pass. Everyone thinks he's going to go over the shoulder here. He does that little twitch, and then he puts it in. Watch this little twitch, like everyone thinks he's going over the shoulder. And then right in the 5-hole.
Closing in on 1,100 career points, 5th all-time. He now has over 400 points as a member of the Toronto Rock. Josh Sanderson, 5-goal lead for Toronto.
And with 137 left on this power play, they might make Calgary suffer the maximum insult. 3 goals.
Colin Doyle to Bearns. Here's Billings. Billings still looking for his first goal in this game and this season. He has 2 assists. Now 3 as he just got 1 on that Sanderson goal, so 3 assists for Billings. He had 82 of them last year. Here's Shadler. Shadler backs up. Nice pass down low, and Rose had come across to make the save on Ressa Terrence.
With Calgary doing a fantastic job to get those ground balls back.
That shot hit Hobbins up high, and he is very slow.
13, 1-3.
We see a penalty call coming up here against Toronto, and look at that as Hobbins turned
the back of the head.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yikes, right in the back of the helmet off the stick of Evans.
Hit his stick. Let's go.
Garrett Billings is getting a penalty for interference. So we'll play 4-on-4 for the last 47 seconds of that major.
So that's a bit of relief for Calgary, as Toronto's power play has been piling up the goals, doing a lot of damage in this game so far. Now just halfway through the third quarter, a lot of time left for an explosive Calgary team, but they need to play better and smarter.
Well, I was absolutely impressed, Dave, with how they retrieved that ground ball, and then I looked on the floor and they had 5 players, and that was because of the delayed penalty on Billings.
Meantime, this is not a welcome sight either for Calgary, as the reigning NLL goalie of the year, Mike Poulin, is getting attention to his, what appears to be his left leg, but he looks like he's all right.
Well, it actually looks like he's going on with a bit of a limp. I assumed that there was an equipment repair, and we hope that's the case.
10 wins last year, tied for first in the league in that category, after 11 wins in 2011, in which he led the league all by himself. In tough to get one here tonight. He's going to need a big comeback from his team, and there's a turnover. It's Stephen Hoare racing down the floor against Chandler. Hoare in. Oh, the ball just trickled wide of the post, and Poulin scoops it up and flings it down the floor. And Stephen Hoare almost had his second of the night. Here's Dixon to Evans. Evans shoots right on, rolls the save, rebound. Dixon tried to scoop it up and goes tumbling into the inboards.
If that was anyone but Shadler, Hoare would have been long gone.
Nolan Hebner steps out of the box, so now it's a 5-on-4 for Calgary for 1 minute and 10 seconds. Scott Ranger joins the attack and gets the ball. Here's Ranger. Feldman, he shoots. Calgary is 1 for 3 on the man advantage tonight. Ranger winds, gets it back, moves in, shoots, rolls, another stop. And he kicks that one into his stick, and Rose bounces it down the floor. Look out. Here comes LeBlanc again. Racing off the bench is Cornwall. Not before LeBlanc got a good shot away. Collision down to the Calgary end of the floor, but Carnegie rolls off the check and races down. His pass is just in behind Snyder, and Toronto takes over. I think Calgary got a little greedy there. Should have set up maybe with their offensive personnel.
No, I think they had the extra man there. You know, use the 3-on-2. They just haven't been connecting on some of those plays, and that was a pass. I thought it was a good pass to Snyder. He just wasn't able to corral it.
Well, you need 5 to tie it. Pass into the corner, bouncing around, battle ensues, and the loose ball is scooped up by Travis Cornwall as Billings steps out of the box. So Calgary fails to cash in on that short power play. They're now 1 for 4 on the night. Just over 5 minutes to go in the third. Evans in the corner. Comes up top for Feldman, who gives it back to Sean Evans. Evans being watched by Chapman, and now Greer turns it over to Chris White. White gives it up, and here comes Sanderson. Partial break, and Poulin got just enough of that. Loose ball almost tucked in, and Poulin comes across to make the save there on Scott Evans. Here's Snyder, back up the floor they come. Drops it off, there's a shot by Ranger, and again Rose gets a piece. Snyder to Paskus. And out of the corner is Evans again. Here's Decker, gives it up to Paskus, goes across, and after that is Dinsdale. 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Out front for Paskus, has that ball chopped loose. Scooped up, but Calgary is kept to the outside here, and they're not going to get a shot away. 4 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the third quarter. Josh Sanderson and the Toronto Rock are in charge right now, up by 5.
Visit allcanadians.com for video tips from NHLPA members on how to raise your game on and off the ice.
Hi, I'm Amy for Downy Unstoppables In-Wash Scent Boosters, here with my favorite new intern, Jimmy.
Fresh.
And it's been in the closet for 12 weeks.
Unbelievable.
Unstoppables. Follow Jimmy on YouTube.
New season, new judges. Don't miss the season premiere of American Idol. Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on CTV. Here at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome. Good crowd on a Saturday night for the Calgary Roughnecks home opener, season opener for both the Roughnecks and the Toronto Rock here in this 2013 NLL season, which actually kicked off last week with one game on the schedule. Busy slate of games this weekend, including 2 for Toronto. They move up the road to play the Rush tomorrow night in Edmonton, and then they are at home next week.
Toronto will get to see #1 draft choice Mark Matthews for the Edmonton Rush.
In front looking for Bearns, and that pass just didn't quite connect. Shots on goal, 34 apiece. They've been very close all night long as McRae whips that one wide, but the scoreboard tells a different story right now. Calgary needs to stay out of the box and be careful with it. Here's Chapman with a breakaway. Chapman in, and he fires it wide. Bodies go crashing into the near boards. Battle for that loose ball at the feet.
And that breakaway by Chapman is just another example of their defense causing offense for Toronto.
Here's Evans. Toronto was very comfortable on the road last season. They got 6 wins on the road. There's a Calgary player, I believe it's Evans, hurt behind the play. Here's Merrill bouncing that shot just wide of the mark on the far post. Sean Evans is just now up down on the offensive end of the floor. He seems to be all right as he's got the ball. He was very slow to get up. Snyder can't corral that pass. Loose ball. Run back down the floor by Toronto. Man up front is Gamble. Gamble rings it off the post. Jesse Gamble up in the rush. Colin Doyle collides with that solid Jeff Snyder. What a collision there.
Roughneck fans, please welcome to the Rough House tonight all the kids sitting in the carve-out kid zone in section 117.
Here's Billings.
Section 117.
Billings goes wide for Doyle. Doyle into the middle, floated a pass looking for LeBlanc. Bodies all over the place right now. Here's Doyle. He shoots and Poulin makes the stop. Bounces right out into traffic, and it's sent down the floor looking for Resetaritz. Nice move. Resetaritz in, and Rose makes the save.
That was a great effort by Resetaritz to catch that ball.
And then make a spectacular little move to cut inside. Under 2 minutes to go, third quarter. Calgary's got to start its climb back right now. Got to get this ball back. Toronto with it again. It's Sanderson. Sanderson to Bearns. Watched by Peter McFetrich. And with time winding down on the shot clock, they just fling the ball aside, and here comes Calgary back up with it. Jeff Shadler drops it off, then gets it back from Pascas. Cornwall joins the offense. Decker's out there as well. Resetaritz winds and fires a shot that deflects towards the inboards. Here's Decker trying to tuck it in from behind the net. And Rose was there, and Woods has it. Rob Marshall now over the center line. Here's Billings. Billings gets it back from Doyle. Garrett Billings over the shoulder to Manning, back to Doyle. Doyle tried to go right in front for LeBlanc, and now he's turned it over. Here's a break, much needed, right in, McBride scores! The captain trying to turn the tide, gets one for Calgary.
Well, you got to give all the credit on this goal to Nolan Hevener. It was a great scoring chance for Toronto. A 2-on-1. Doyle's looking for the man in the crease. Hevener picks it up, gives it to the captain, McBride, and he puts it in. But it all started on an interception that looked like it was going to be one of the nice goals for Toronto as that ball moved from player to player to player, and Hevener picked off that pass from Colin Doyle.
Calgary needed that one, and they get one from their captain, Andrew McBride. Final 30 seconds now, and Calgary has the ball back again. Evans being watched by Belton. Quick pass, they score again. Darryl Feldman, short side, tucks one in past Rose. And here they come.
And what quick release as that went east-west. This ball comes across, Feldman cutting and straight in. No time at all. I believe it was Sean Evans who makes that pass. And very nice hands by Feldman as he puts that in nice and quick.
For the first time all night, Calgary scores back-to-back goals. And they've got it again with 10 seconds on the clock. Evans backs away, glances at the clock, tries to cut in, loses control of it. And play is whistled down. Penalty call here. Going to be a holding call against Toronto.
Well, it was 2 goals within 19 seconds.
44, 2 minutes.
Yeah, without a doubt. Evans tries to go under Hoare. He grabs a piece of him.
So time for maybe one quick shot. There it is, but Calgary with momentum. Back-to-back goals, and they will take a power play into the 4th quarter. 10-7. Troy Cordingley, the Toronto Rock, trying to steer this one home. 15 minutes to go. You're watching Toronto Rock Lacrosse on TSN.
With the Bell Mobile TV app, your tablet is more amazing with over 20 live TV channels. You get to watch tons of sports on TSN and TSN2. The latest news on CTV News Channel and BNN. Plus, you get access to all the best primetime shows on CTV and MTV. All this at a tap of your finger. Switch to Bell and enjoy the Bell Mobile TV app anywhere you and your tablet go.
Tickets are over 70% sold in the Heart and Stroke Lottery. It's your ticket to the biggest cash prize ever. $2 million. That's like 100 grand a year for 20 years. There are 10 amazing grand prizes and exciting prizes worth millions more. Plus the best odds ever, 1 in 3. And you support life-saving Heart and Stroke Foundation research. With the biggest cash prize and the best odds ever, 1 in 3, tickets are over 70% sold. So call or order online now.
Oh, look at you, little guy, all soft and sweet with your cute little chocolate chips.
Yeah, I get it. I'm little. But they're not chips.
Oh.
They're mouth-watering peanut butter chocolate chunks. And I'm loaded with them. And if you knew just how delicious I am, you wouldn't be able to keep your hands up.
Hey!
New Ahoy Extras, the little cookie with a whole lot of extra.
Toronto Rock Lacrosse is brought to you by Real Sports Bar and Grill, home of the official post-game party of the Toronto Rock. Real Sports Bar and Grill. We know your game.
Well, the NFL playoffs are definitely here, and tomorrow TSN has Matt Schaub and the Houston Texans taking on Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Coverage there begins 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific on TSN. Thriller in Denver as Baltimore beat the Broncos in overtime. San Francisco's up big the 4th quarter, and here we got something brewing in the 4th quarter. This one, as Toronto is feeling a little pressure now from a veteran Calgary Roughneck team that is trying to build on some momentum here with a power play to start the 4th quarter. What have you seen, Brian?
Well, you mentioned it's the first time they got 2 goals in a row, and it comes from just a fortunate break for them. Colin Doyle looked to be setting up a teammate on the crease when Heavener made a great play. Interception led to a goal, another quick goal 20 seconds later, and then they drew the power play. So things have gone well for Calgary in the last minute of the 3rd quarter, and they hope to continue it here.
Toronto's trying to get off to a good start here on a very difficult opening assignment in the weekend with back-to-backs in Calgary and Edmonton. Toronto had just 2 wins in their first 6 games last season. They finished very strong, winning 5 of their last 6 down the stretch to finish first in the East. Thanks in large part to that guy. They got some solid goaltending down the stretch, but this would be a nice start for them, but they better buckle up because Calgary appears to be mounting a bit of a comeback here. Let's see what happens on this power play. Stephen Hoare gone for the hold. Calgary's 1 for 4 with a man advantage tonight. Ranger is up top. Scott Ranger gets it back from Veldman, backs up. Ranger cuts into the middle, moves in. Good save there by Rose. And Dixon corrals the rebound. Fresh shot clock. Here's Evans, cross to Veldman. Oh, what a stop by Rose as he reaches back and keeps that out.
I don't know how he saved that. I thought they were going to shoot on the first one. He got in the back, his backhand on that. That is just not giving up on the play.
Ranger thought he had it on the board already. 1:08 to go in the power play. Dixon in the middle for Ranger. They can connect. Battle for the loose ball, and Evans takes a hard hit and comes away with it from Greer. Gives it up. Nice move by Shadler. He gets a shot away, and Rose makes the stop. Here comes Gamble racing down the floor. Jesse Gamble all the way down with 40 seconds remaining. Steph LeBlanc tries to roll in, and he rolls right out of the corner. Here's LeBlanc being watched all the way by the captain, McBride, who kind of started this comeback. Colin Doyle was 1-on-2 and had the ball batted out of his stick and lost his stick.
Let's hear it for your team.
19 seconds to go, and the penalty to Stephen Orr. Calgary's now leading in shots on goal, 41-37. That last one, they thought they'd made it 10-8. What a stop by Nick Rose. Here's Evans. Jeff Shadler to Evans. Back to Shadler. He shoots. Rose makes the save. Rebound to the side of the net. Resatera scoops it up. Fresh shot clock. 5-on-5. Power play is over, and they give it up, and there is Rose. Over the top now to Merrill. Interesting story, this Nick Rose, isn't he? They started last year with Matt Royk as they began life without Whipper. Bob Watson retired. He went straight to the Hall of Fame, as a matter of fact. Matt Royk, they weren't happy with him in the late stages of the season. Poulin makes a save there. Late stages of last season, they acquired Rose from Calgary. Here's Snyder. Finds the open man on the trailing play there with Shadler, and he bounces his shot wide. Nick Rose went 5-1 down the stretch last season. 1-1 in the playoffs, and here he is off to a great start here tonight.
Well, the thing about Rose is they say he's got so much composure. They don't know if he's got a heartbeat sometimes. What Terry Sanderson says, nothing rattles him.
There's a shot and a goal by Scott Evans as he whips one short side on Mike Poulin.
Well, that's got to feel good for Scotty Evans as he sees his brother put in a couple of goals for Calgary. Very similar move to that of his brother's. Just bounces off the hit, takes the underhand as he steps back. It's very difficult to get a lot of heat on those shots because you're backtracking. You want to step into your shot, but it shows great skill when you can back off a hit and get a shot with so much velocity.
Evans in his first game as a member of the Toronto Rock. You're right, that one will feel good. This is a guy who had back-to-back 40-goal seasons with Rochester and then missed all of 2009 with an ACL injury. He's a goal scorer, no question about that. And so is his brother. Sean Evans answers right back for Calgary.
And you said it, this is a goal scorer's goal. He's got no angle, but he manages to pull Rose off the post. Steps in, pulls him off the post, and goes back short side. A big goal, one Calgary really needed after they failed to score in the power play, to come back quickly after Toronto scored to hopefully keep some of those momentum they had going.
Sean Evans with 3 goals on the night. He's got the ball right back, gives it up to Pascas. Pascas way up high, goes wide. Calgary back within 3. Evans, nice pass. Shadler trying to whip a low shot. Bounces way up in the air. And cuts into the corner. Hobbins trying to corral it. There's Evans. He's been everywhere tonight for Calgary, hasn't he? Battling hard.
He's played a great game, and when nothing was going for them, he was the one who was drawing penalties.
And killing them. Over the shoulder attempt, reaches Bearns. Bearns drops it off for Scott Evans. His hard, long-range shot. Poulin not sure where it was. Finally finds it and then whips it down the floor for Shadler. Here's Jeff Shadler. Thought he had a man to get the ball to, but waits for the rest of the offense to get out on the floor. 10.5 to go in the game.
Looked at Dan McRae. McRae was on the wrong side of the floor. Defensive player on the wrong side. He decided to hold on to it.
see if that decision works out here. Dixon towards the net, shoots, and Rose makes the save and then reaches out to cover up. Here's Stephen Orr. Remember back at the start of this game, Orr scoring 7 seconds into it. We said he beat Snyder on that faceoff. Turns out that he admitted that Snyder won it. And it went off of his foot straight to Orr. So I guess our apologies to Jeff Snyder, the reigning face-off king. But it's Toronto still hanging on to this lead, up by 3 here in Calgary.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
Your muscles give you strength, but when they ache, they weaken you. Try Tylenol Muscle and Body. It's specially formulated to relieve muscle and body pain for up to 8 hours. Tylenol Muscle and Body. Get back to normal, whatever your normal is.
Take a break from Old Man Winter. Book a select all-inclusive beach vacation now and get a $150 future travel credit. Plus, enjoy the protection of our best price guarantee. Escape winter at Expedia.ca. Expedia.ca. Your trip, your way.
For everything your face has to face it with Puffs facial tissues. Puffs has air-fluffed pillows for 40% more cushiony thickness. Face every day with Puffs softness.
Rock versus Philadelphia, January 19th. For the best ticket in town, visit TorontoRock.com.
Time now for the game changer. What have you seen tonight, Shanny?
Well, Toronto was up by a couple of goals when Billings takes this shot and takes a shot in the head from Heavner. Heavner got a 5-minute major, and on the ensuing power play, Josh Sanderson scores a pair. There's his first, and here's his second. He looks over, puts it in the 5-hole, and that gave Toronto a 10-5 lead at that point.
Tonight's game changer brought to you by Bodog.net, your trusted source for sports odds and free poker. Join Bodog today. Lots of game left to be changed. Just under 10 minutes to go. Toronto with the ball. Josh Sanderson. Billings goes into the corner for Scott Evans. Here's Billings again. Here's Evans. Over across to LeBlanc. LeBlanc had it batted out of his stick. Calgary trying to chop in loose. Sanderson battles for the loose ball. Saw the train coming, and Calgary gets a hold of it. This is McFetrich, who will slow things down, trying to be forced back there by Belton. He walks around him. Carnegie hands it over to the offense. Ranger up over the top, gets it back. Ranger shoots right on, and Rose saw that and stops it. Digs it out of the gear and then hands it over to Sandy Chapman. Chapman, who led the Rock last season in loose balls with 83 of them. Here's Belton, the rookie. High hopes and high aspirations for him, according to Troy Cordingley. Colin Doyle right in front to LeBlanc. Reaching back was Poulin to keep it out. Almost bounced it past Poulin, but now Calgary works it back up the floor. Dinsdale.
Go, next, go!
Here's Shadler. Rob Marshall watching him. Sean Evans now tries to move around Merrill. Here's Evans, been dangerous all night, but he had nothing to shoot at there. 6 seconds to go on the shot clock. Shadler in. Evans got a shot away just as he was hammered there by Gamble.
That way. Where you go? That way.
Gamble's getting a penalty for hitting from behind. on that play right there. Here's a chance by LeBlanc a little earlier. Great second effort by Poulin to reach back. We mentioned Evans. He's been a huge factor for Calgary. 3 goals, and I'd say at least 3 penalties have been called against players covering him.
He had 13 power play goals on the year last season to lead the team, and now it's another power play as Gamble gets the hit from behind call. Calgary 1 for 5 with a man advantage. Here's Evans to Dixon. Dixon to Evans. Evans winds and shoots, and Big Nick Rose came out and took everything away.
And look at Evans in the corner. He's the first in the corner to get that ball loose.
After taking the shot. Dixon. Calgary gets its own rebound. Fresh shot clock to work with. Here's Dixon, scores! And that is Curtis Dixon we've been waiting to see all night. The 30-goal man gets Calgary back within 2.
Yeah, Curtis Dixon, Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, another 30-goal season last year. Scores his first of the game. Usually he plays in the left side. This time he's up at the top of the power play. Nice underhand shot. A big goal.
And look out, Snyder scores! And Calgary is right back in it.
And this is the Jeff Snyder. You always say with Snyder, you got to take the bad with the good. Well, this is the good. He wins the face-off cleanly, drives to the net, and puts it in. He scores a lot of goals that way. Sometimes he's frustrated with the penalties he takes, but he's got that ability to win the face-off and take it straight to the net.
Huge goal by Jeff Snyder. There is some concern for a Rock player who is down in behind the play. I think it's is it Gamble?
I can't tell.
It looks as though it's Jesse Gamble after coming out of the box following the power play goal. Watch in close.
Well, he just got tangled up as
Jeff Snyder
came hard.
Jeff Snyder is a Rock. And Gamble took the worst of that collision, got tangled up. Knee seemed to buckle a little bit there as Snyder barreled towards the net. And this doesn't look good.
Snyder's not a tall guy, 5'10", but he packs 210 pounds on there. And when he's coming at you hard, he's like a running back.
In the meantime, Calgary 2 goals within 7 seconds, and Calgary has now scored 5 of the last 6 goals in this game, and that has this guy concerned.
Well, without a doubt, the momentum is in their favor right now.
It shifted right at the end of the 3rd quarter, didn't it?
It sure did, and we thought, you know, on the big penalty kill by the Toronto Rock, Toronto had a good penalty kill there, and they came back, scored a goal by Scotty Evans. But quickly, Evans scores 1, draws a penalty, they get the power play, and then Jeff Snyder does his thing on the faceoff.
Well, there's good news for Toronto as Gamble walks off on his own. He heads to the bench, and perhaps that little lull, I don't know whether that concerns Calgary or not, but it certainly slows them down as they had scored 2 goals in 7 seconds, and they got this building alive again, really for the first time tonight.
Down!
Toronto has led all the way. They've never trailed. This game has not been tied since it was 2-2. Way back in the 1st quarter, but Calgary's 1 goal within that with 7.5 to go.
And you'd have to think that this building will erupt if Calgary gets the next goal.
Garrett Billings, watched closely there by McFetrich, rolls away from that check, creates some room, shoots, and that hits the side of the net. Nolan Hebner scoops up the loose ball, lost control of it, but it remains Calgary ball. Shots are now 48-43 in favor of the Roughnecks. Here they come up the floor with a chance to tie it. Decker Wide side, he's got Shatler over on that side helping out against Steph LeBlanc. Shatler gets the ball, puts it across. Evans, Shatler shoots that hits LeBlanc in front. Ball squirts free, bounces around, and Kyle Belton is able to race away with it. Stephen LeBlanc in for Billings. The big guns for Toronto need to answer here. Here's one of them, Scott Evans, trying to muscle his way in, drops it off to Sanderson. Into the corner he goes for Doyle. Doyle into the middle, shoots. Poulin had come out to challenge and makes a much-needed stop on the sharp-shooting captain. Back up the floor is Decker. Winds and then pulls that back. Crowd into it now with under 6 minutes to go. Here is Shatler, goes into the corner. Back up top for the rookie, Ressa Terrence. Here's Sean Evans now. Evans in a crowd, got a shot away. Rose not sure where it was. Ressa Terrence dove in. And it's Toronto ball.
Rose has no idea where it is. And I don't think Resetaris realized he can reach in and pull that ball right out. You can't bat it in the NLL, but you can reach in, take it out, and take a shot.
Calgary's D has certainly stepped up its aggressiveness. Here's Billings trying to get free, but McFetrich blocks him. Sanderson mishandles that bounce pass. He's going to have to hustle. He gets there, but this will be Calgary ball as Toronto had run out of time anyway. Under 5 minutes to go. Couple of quick ones by Calgary, including one from their sharpshooter, Curtis Dixon. 1-goal game.
Hello? Roger's sick. The film gala's in about 2 hours. Want to go?
Yeah. Wait, 2 hours?
No time to plan? There's still time to whiten. Crest 3D White Strips 2-Hour Express. In just 2 hours, you can have a noticeably whiter smile that lasts for months.
They must think we're famous. Let him.
Whitening without the wait. 3D White Strips 2-Hour Express from Crest. Life opens up when you do. And try Crest 3D White toothpaste and rinse.
Because of you, those who helped us along the way.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
To the volunteers that taught us about dedication. The coaches who pushed us to be our best.
Say thanks. Say thanks.
To those who cheered us on.
Say thanks.
Say thanks.
Because of you, we realized that hockey is more than a game. It's who we are.
Say thanks.
Craft hockey goes on because of you.
Kids never forget their first helmet. Chevrolet believes nothing is more important than safety. That's why we're keeping things safe and fun by giving away Bauer helmets to 5-year-olds all across Canada. Chevrolet, safe on the road, safe on the ice.
Toronto Rock Lacrosse is brought to you by Discount Car and Truck Rentals, providing car rental solutions to Canadians for over 30 years. Make your other car a discount. And by Backley Construction, the official construction company of the Toronto Rock.
Well, the roads aren't great out there in Calgary, but that did not stop a good crowd from heading out to the Saddledome tonight to watch a good game between the Rock and the Roughnecks. Season opener for both of these two teams. 1-goal game, 4:52 remaining. Calgary down by a goal, 11-10 with the ball as they head up the floor. Shatler gives it up to Ranger. Ranger to the corner for Dixon. Dixon makes a move, shoots, and Rose made the stop. But again, Calgary may be really on their rebounds here in this third and fourth quarter. Looking for Feldman, and it was over his head. Into the corner where it's gathered up by Chris White, and he'll run it up the floor. Toronto needs one here. Turn the tide back in their favor.
Well, this is where Toronto's really got to count on the experience of the 5 offensive players out here, and they've got a lot of talent and a lot of years.
Here's Here's one of their more experienced guys, Colin Doyle, with a bouncer to Billings. Billings, backhanded pass, gets away from LeBlanc, and the shot clock got away from him as well. No shots. That's been a common theme for Toronto in their offensive possessions here in this second half as Calgary's D has stepped it up.
Yeah, Calgary's D has played very well, and you mentioned the offense has done a great job of not just getting the shots, but getting to those ground balls and rebounds.
Here's Shatler, cuts in, shoots, Rose makes the stop again. Outlet pass, Campbell appears to be fine as he runs down the floor. Bounce pass across to Sanderson. Sanderson against Manning. Here's Sanderson right in. Poulin held his ground. And a penalty call coming up against Calgary here. Ball goes up in the air. Delayed penalty call in effect. Net is empty. Right in front. Bearns scores. Casey Bearns gets one for Toronto to restore a 2-goal lead.
What a pass by Colin Doyle. Watch this. In his stick and straight across. This is why Colin Doyle is still one of the best offensive players in the world. He sees these things and he knows where that ball should go next. And that's in his stick and to Bearns and in the net.
Casey Bearns, who really has had a knack of scoring big goals lately for the Toronto Rock. His 28 goals last season was the most he has had in a single season since 2004. And that one restores a little bit of breathing room here with under 3 minutes to go. Penalty call was against Curtis Manning, obviously waved off thanks to the goal by Bearns. Here's Dixon, back the other way, has Chapman turned around. Dixon barging in, and Rose makes the stop of the last possible second on a great individual effort by Curtis Dixon.
Well, a great steal by Dixon at the half-court line to get that ball back, and then he just tries to power his way to the net, and Rose isn't budging.
Well, you're right about Nick Rose. You even watch him how he plays. He's just so calm and cool, isn't he?
Yeah, and you know, goaltenders will have bad games. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to have a bad game eventually. And, you know, he didn't finish the season on a sharp note. He didn't have a great game against Rochester, but you know, that's history. He just shakes that off. All goalies got to know that they're going to have bad games. It's history.
LeBlanc tried to feed it across to Manning, almost clicked there. Heavy traffic right in front of the net. Billings had the ball taken away from him. Now here's room right in front for Manning. Once again, Poulin checked behind him, but he had it.
Roughnecks fans, it's opening night. This is our house.
Just a couple seconds left of the shot clock. Manning takes it to the net. Saved by Poulin to give his team a chance.
Daryl Feldman with under 2 minutes to go here. Evans gets away from Woods and gets the ball back. Here's Sean Evans. Way up high, right in front, over the shoulders. Oh, it got behind Rose, and it was fished out. What a great goal that would have been, but it remains a 2-goal lead for Toronto.
It seemed to have beat Rose, but as it was trickling in, it just didn't make it.
That off a great feed again from Sean Evans. It was backed up way up high. Lobbed it in there. Here's Doyle in front. Bearns scores again. Casey Bearns with another big one. And Toronto's lead is back up to 3 on the 3rd goal of the night for Bearns.
And again, who is it that finds Bearns but Colin Doyle? And the beautiful pass. And this is where Toronto is so good. You know, a couple of minutes ago, it looked like all the momentum was going in Calgary's way. And then this veteran offense led by Colin Doyle with a couple of nifty assists seems to have taken the pressure off.
3-goal lead with 1:14 on the clock right now. Calgary was really breathing down their necks. Jeff Snyder and Curtis Dixon with a couple of quick back-to-back goals. They'd gotten back within 1. And Jesse Gamble got hurt, and he was down on the floor for a little while, and that certainly slowed Calgary down for a moment anyway.
Yeah, but they definitely, this quarter has been Calgary's quarter up until this last minute where Behrens has scored these 2 goals. You know, it was really the transition game for Toronto that built them their lead. But in the last few minutes, it's been the veteran leadership and their 5-on-5 offense that has played with composure that has restored it.
Right now, they are reviewing the latest goal by Casey Behrens under 2 minutes to go in the game. That is an automatic league review.
Well, they're
not necessarily automatic.
Yeah, not even close. Well, generally, with 2 minutes to go, the referees are required to review anything that might be questionable.
Thank you very much.
And it looks like he doesn't need to look at it again.
So you know what? They were reviewing 2 plays there. They were actually reviewing whether or not the Calgary chance had gotten behind Rose. So our apologies.
Yeah.
That's what they were reviewing.
Yes, and what a turn of events that would have been.
Yeah, so they did review it. They waved it off. Here's a look on the over-the-shoulder attempt by Pascas.
It actually got by Rose and then somehow got caught up in his pants or something, but it went between his... Oh, that hit the post. Oh, my gosh.
So that was reviewed. It didn't go in. Behrens did. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists tonight. Colin Doyle also has a 5-point night with 5 assists. Evans took a hard shot, but there was no daylight there in behind the big guy. Now an empty net for Bill Greer. Calgary has the extra attacker on. Here's Merrill with the empty net to shoot at, and back playing goal there is Evans, who's done it all tonight. That might be a big save. What do you think? Here's Dixon right in. Dixon scores. Hold on.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think they're going to come back, but you got to give some credit to these guys, especially Sean Evans, to stand in that net like a goaltender, make the save off Patrick Merrill. They get the ball up the floor to give them a chance. And you know, the way that Snyder wins faceoffs, if he can win another faceoff like he did that last time when he scored 7 seconds after the other, this will be a tense game for the Toronto Rock.
Slower.
And they're actually checking this out again, like they do every close goal in the last 2 minutes.
Making sure there is no crease violation. His tippy toes were close to that line, but I believe this is going to be a good goal.
Well, you must have better eyes than me to see his television screen.
That's good for me. Good goal.
Well, here's a look, Jenny. Tell us what you think.
It's a good goal. Yeah, his foot's outside the crease.
See, just like I told you, buddy.
You got great eyes.
So Curtis Dixon now has a 5-point night with a couple of goals and 3 assists, but it might be too little too late. Unless Calgary can really pull one out of a hat here.
This is where the faceoff is huge.
Now the net is still empty. Snyder in against Stephen Hoare. Hoare flips it forward. Nothing else, will just take more time off the clock. That's what he's content to do. Bounces it across to Chapman. And he gives it up to Greer. All the defensive personnel killing some time here as that one almost carried him in towards the net. Well, this one is going to go the way of the Toronto Rock here with 12 seconds to go. They scored very early.
Ball's down there, you're right.
7 seconds into the game, and Calgary did come back to tie it a couple of times early on, but beyond that, it has been all Toronto tonight. Calgary threatened here in the 4th quarter, but they couldn't get it back to even. And the Toronto Rock are going to open up with a solid road victory.
Sounds like they're going to change the time on the clock. It says 12 seconds, but they're going to change it to 13.5. But very little chance. Calgary would have to score immediately, and then Snyder would have to win the faceoff. But the way Toronto's setting up on these faceoffs now, they're not going to give him a break. That last faceoff, Toronto had 4 guys back. They might let him win it, but he's not taking it straight down to the net.
Well, they've added the time, as you say. 13.5 seconds to go. These two teams went to overtime in the regular season meeting last year. Calgary needs a miracle to get to overtime tonight. Dixon winds, shoots, hits his own man in front. He races back to avoid the over and back, fires it again, rolls the save, and Toronto wins it. They hang on to get the victory tonight in Calgary, 13-11 final.
Well, the Toronto Rock has got to be really happy with this game. Anytime you come into Calgary and get a victory, you got to be thrilled with that. Start of a tough road trip, two Alberta games into Edmonton tomorrow, but they've got to love this start. And Calgary didn't show much for much of the game, but they really turned it on in that third quarter to make it a good one.
The Toronto Rock, East Division champions 1 year ago in the regular season. They are off and running. They're 1-0. Calgary 0-1. Toronto carries on to face the Rush tomorrow night before going home next week. On behalf of Claude Fig and Brian Shanahan, this is Dave Randorf saying thanks for watching. So long from Calgary. You are watching TSN, Canada's sports leader. So long, everybody.
You're watching TSN2, a division of Bell Media.
Now on E60.
Unstoppable.
He smashed the NFL record book. It's his world. We're just living in it. This is the life of Gronk.
Oh, home run.
An E60 exclusive.
You were photographed with a porn star.
Actress.
Touchdown, UCLA.
Team captain and MVP of the UCLA defense.